All right, good morning, everybody. If you're here for the High Hanging Fruit webinar, you are in the right place. So again, we're going to get started here in just a second, but I just wanted to let you know that if you're here for the High Hanging Fruit webinar, you are in the right place. So we're going to give it just about another minute, and then we'll get started. All right, well, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. If you're here for the High Hanging Fruit webinar, where we're going to give away the free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit, here during the webinar, you are in the right place. So again, everybody on this webinar today is going to get a copy of High Hanging Fruit, and we'll tell you about that here in just a bit. Before we kind of get really started with the webinar, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Mitch Broderick. I'm the one that you've been getting tons of emails from and text messages from. And so I just want to take a second to introduce myself and introduce Tim Shermack, who's going to be delivering the webinar here today. So a little bit about me. I actually used to sell real estate full time for about 3 years, quite a while ago. But when I was selling real estate, I mean, I went through several different types of marketing programs. I got the cold calls where people were pressuring me, and I bought too. And basically, whenever I came across like this high hanging fruit methodology, it was something that like was far different than whatever else I was being taught at the time. And so like I highly endorse the high hanging fruit methodology. I had moved on into kind of a dream opportunity, but then got hooked up with Tim about 1.5 years ago. And mostly because I really, truly believe in this high hanging fruit strategy. And so the high hanging fruit book, again, everybody's going to get a copy of it, is one of the best like marketing tools or marketing strategies that a realtor specifically can implement, just because of how based in relationship building it is. So one other thing I want to remind everybody is that this is a live webinar. So, you can participate in the live chat here on the right side of the screen. Today is January 29th. Well, let me make sure it's January 29th. And so this is a totally live webinar. So cool. Now I want to just take a second and introduce Tim Shermack. He is the author of High Hanging Fruit and the CEO of Platform. And Tim's going to basically walk you through this webinar and deliver the content. And, we give away the farm on this webinar. We're going to tell you exactly what we're doing with our clients, how we're implementing this methodology, and what's making it successful. And so you should find this content to be very relevant and to be something that you can take away, once you get off this webinar, you can take away and actually start implementing things right away. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Tim Shermack and let him take over. And I will still be in the background. I should be able to chat with you in the live chat. And Tim's going to hop into screen share in a minute. So if you just have like that logo and the black screen, that's totally fine. We're going to move into screen share here in just a minute. So I'm going to hand it off to Tim and we'll get going.
All right, cool. Thanks, Mitch. As Mitch said, my name is Tim Shermack. I'm the CEO of Platform Marketing and the author of the book High Hanging Fruit. Everyone on the webinar this morning is going to get a free copy of that book. I'm going to hop into screen share here in 1 second. And as I do that, I just want to remind everyone that this is a live webinar. So this is not one of those webinars that you sign up for and it looks live, but it's pre-recorded, this is totally live. It is, let's see, January 29th today. Yesterday was the Pro Bowl in the NFL in Orlando. Harrison Smith had a pick six and Adam Thielen caught a touchdown pass from Drew Brees, I believe. The only reason I know that is I am a Minnesota Vikings fan. So it's cool seeing two Vikings players scoring the Pro Bowl. So there you go. It is a live webinar. This was not recorded from like a month ago or 2 months ago or anything like that. Totally live. What's going to happen on this webinar is I'm going to give you a full-blown comprehensive training on this high-hanging fruit strategy. And what we're going to focus on specifically is Facebook ad lead generation. So we're going to talk about the specific high-hanging fruit style Facebook ads that we use to generate leads for realtors. Most agents that use this are getting about 200 leads a month, sometimes as many as 300 leads a month, but 200 is actually the average. And when I say average, I mean it. Like, I'm not cherry picking one example where one person got really lucky and got 200 leads a month. That's actually the average for real estate agents that use this high hanging fruit strategy. So what we're going to talk about in the webinar today is this high hanging fruit strategy and the specific Facebook ads that can generate leads using this strategy. But I mentioned I am the CEO, founder of Platform Marketing. So at the very end, as kind of a surprise gift, a surprise bonus, we're actually going to offer you a trial month of Platform if you're interested. What we do at Platform is we just manage all of your online marketing, all of your Facebook lead gen for you. So at the very end, if you're interested in that, in addition to getting a free copy of our book, we're also going to offer you a trial month of Platform. But in the meantime, we have about a full hour here of just straight up detailed training on how you can do this yourself. As Mitch said, we give away the farm on this webinar. We go into a lot of detail, so please take notes. This will probably be the most like tactical, detailed webinar you've ever been on. We don't just talk about big picture strategy and then leave you to figure it out. We will get pretty detailed here in how to set up the specific Facebook ads and how to make the strategy work. So right away, I don't want to talk about any more of that stuff. I want to dive right into this. All right, so right away, what high hanging fruit is a commitment to creating marketing campaigns that generate a pipeline for you. All right, so high-hanging fruit is this kind of contrarian idea. It's really the opposite of what most agents do. High-hanging fruit is this contrarian idea that if we're going to set up marketing campaigns and if we're going to invest money in advertising, right, I would rather generate a future pipeline of leads that are ready to go in 3 months or 4 months, or maybe even 5 months from now. I would rather build a future pipeline than fight with other agents over what I call low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit are the leads that are ready to go right now, right? It's the leads that you buy from Zillow or Realtor.com, where often, they're ready to start house hunting today, right? Or they're ready to get pre-approved today, or they're thinking of listing their house this week, right? Low-hanging fruit, obviously those are attractive leads because they're ready to go right now. But paradoxically, those are also the most competitive and then therefore the most expensive leads because that's what all the other agents want. Most agents are spending all their marketing budgets trying to get low-hanging fruit, right? They're buying leads from Zillow, buying leads from Realtor.com. And that's what all the other agents are doing. So if you're investing your marketing budget in such a way that you're just competing with all the other agents, it makes your marketing budget that much more inefficient, right? So high-hanging fruit is the opposite. We're not trying to do the same thing as other people in a slightly better way. We're doing a different thing entirely, right? We're doing actually the opposite of what most agents do. High-hanging fruit is about building a marketing system that generates future pipeline leads, so you'll never have to worry about where your next transaction is coming from. So we intentionally build marketing campaigns, and we'll focus on Facebook ads, but I'll get to more on that in a second. But we intentionally structure our marketing campaigns and our lead generation so that it's bringing in leads that are 3 months out, 4 months out, 5 months out, what I call high-hanging fruit. It's the fruit at the top of the tree where you have to have some patience and you have to have some vision, and you bring your ladder to the tree and you climb to the top and pick the high-hanging fruit when all the other agents are fighting over the low-hanging fruit on the bottom branches. Because a cool thing happens at the top of the tree if you're building a future pipeline of leads. Those high-hanging fruit leads, there's no competition, right? No competition. So it just makes your marketing budget 10 times more effective for the same amount of money. So this slide I have on here, and by the way, again, if you're just joining us, everyone is going to get a free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit. And then at the very end, we'll give you another bonus, actually, a trial month of Platform if you're interested. So this screenshot I have on here is a text message that we recently got from a realtor in Florida. And the part I want you to focus on is at the very end, my pipeline is full. That's the key sentence. That's the part I want you to see. At the very end, it says my pipeline is full. You know, yeah, they got looks like they got a listing lead and a couple buyers, but that's great. You know, the system works, right? That's great. But the part I want you to focus on is that sentence at the end, my pipeline is full. Because what he's saying is like, awesome, now I don't have to worry about where my closings are going to come from over the next couple months. You know, it just puts you at ease as a real estate agent. It gives you a peace of mind when you're not living paycheck to paycheck, you know, closing to closing. Because that's the reality that most agents live in. We want to create a different reality here. We want to intentionally structure marketing campaigns that bring in high-hanging fruit leads, right? So I know it sounds weird, but I would rather have a lead that's ready to go in like 90 days than have a lead who's ready to go in 2 weeks. Because the lead who's ready to go in 2 weeks is probably getting bombarded with phone calls from other agents, right? Zillow has already sold their information to 10 agents, or Realtor.com has already sold their information, right? Or if they're an expired listing, they're already getting tons of phone calls from other agents, or, you know, for sale by owner, right? So that low-hanging fruit, that's where all the competition is. So because we want to avoid competition, we want to stretch our marketing dollars further, where rather than paying $20 a lead or $30 a lead, we can get our leads for as cheap as $3 a piece, right? We target high-hanging fruit. So what I usually say right away is that high-hanging fruit really isn't a tactic. It's not even really a strategy, honest. High-hanging fruit is more of a philosophy. So it's at a bigger picture level than even tactics or strategy. It's really a philosophy. It's a new way of thinking about marketing. So this high-hanging fruit philosophy is essentially the opposite of what most agents have been taught their entire careers, whether you've been to like a sales training at your own brokerage, maybe you've gone through something like, you know, the BOLD program at Keller Williams, you've been to, you know, Tom Ferry events or something like that. This is pretty much the opposite of what you'll be taught everywhere, because we are looking at building a long-term sustainable business that has a steady flow of leads versus just trying to make as much money as possible, you know, as we can in the next 30 days or 60 days by cold calling a bunch of people, right? So what I will promise you in this webinar, as we dive into the specifics here, is that I'm going to actually show you some video examples of people that are doing this. So you realize it's like not just an idea I've had, right? I'm not doing this webinar and giving a free copy of my book, High Hanging Fruit, because it's an idea I've had. This is actually proven. We've worked with hundreds of realtors across the country. And I'm going to show you some video examples that actually prove that it's working, of agents that have doubled, in some cases even tripled their GCI. So the one thing that you should know about a lot of you know, sales companies or marketing companies in real estate is notice that very often when they put out ads, you know, whether it's a testimonial or some sort of ad you might see on Facebook, right? It usually is talking about number of leads, or it's talking about, you know, vague, ambiguous things that don't necessarily translate to closings. We try to focus on closings as much as possible. Like, how many extra closings, you know, did you get? How much did your GCI grow by, right? Because ultimately that's all that matters. If I'm telling you that you can get an extra 200 leads a month or an extra 300 leads a month, right? That ultimately doesn't mean anything unless those leads are actually translating into clients and into closings, right? Because you don't want to just be sifting through a bunch of crap leads, right? So as much as possible, we try to focus on, hey, how much did your GCI grow by? Or how many extra closings did you get? Oh, just got a message here. Just got a message here. I'm not in screen share. I apologize for that. I'm going to hop back in here and turn that on here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, awesome. Again, sorry about that. We should be in screen share now. So here's that slide I was telling you about. At the end, it says my pipeline is full. I'm going to skip ahead to where I am right now. But the whole point of high hanging fruit is that it builds a pipeline. And because you're building a pipeline, it actually results in an increase in closings, right? I'm not just going to tell you about the number of leads you're getting. It's about the number of closings. What has your GCI grown by? And we've seen over and over and over again across the country, actually, with agents that are using this high hanging fruit strategy, they actually pretty consistently can double their GCI, right? So it's not something where it might add $10,000 a year to your GCI or $25,000 a year, right? This is something that can double your GCI. So I'll be sharing with you, some case studies and some video examples of people that have grown from 50 to 150,000, or grown from 100 to 200,000 GCI. People that have grown from 150 to 300 in GCI, sometimes even beyond that, right? So any marketing system, if you're taking notes, please write this down. Any marketing system should be judged by how much it actually grows your business, not just the number of leads or the number of clicks you get. Because a lot of people that will try to set up a website for you or sell you on, some social media marketing campaign, or really, all the sorts of marketing programs, right, that are targeted at realtors, right? Usually they want you focusing on page views or clicks or the number of likes on your Facebook ads or the number of, engagement on social media, but that doesn't pay the bills, right? Only US dollars pay the bills. We need closings, not just a bunch of clicks or a bunch of leads, right? So that's ultimately the only metric that matters. And so that's what we're going to talk about on this webinar, is marketing that actually works, marketing that actually directly leads to closing. So here's an example of someone who is actually on this exact webinar that you're on right now. They were on it about 6 weeks ago. They were on the same training when we did this live webinar about 6 weeks ago. Here's the results they got in their very first month once they took action on this high-hanging fruit strategy. Again, this is Michelle. She was on the same webinar that you're on. We did it right before Thanksgiving, I think, last year. So basically, like 6 weeks ago is when she took action. Here's the results she's got in her first month using the system. This is just a 25-second video.
Hi, this is Michelle Jones from Tennessee. I joined the platform webinar. I signed up, and my results for the first 10 days are that the 2 new listings ads that I ran with platform, I got both under contract in the same day. I also have 5 active buyers that I'm currently working with now, and I also have obtained 3 new listings.
So that's crazy. The reason I asked her to film that on video is because if I just shared that with you, you probably wouldn't believe me, because it's like too good to be true, right? So she got 5 active buyers from it and some new listings. All that happened in November, right? So it's not even the peak selling season. It's not spring or summer, in November. So this works. The reason I want to show you that quick video is just so you realize this works. So what we're going to cover here is what exactly does this high-hanging fruit strategy mean, right? And we talked about it a little bit, but we're going to go a little bit more in detail about some of the specific ads that you should be running if you want to take action on this high-hanging fruit strategy in your business. We're going to talk about why I believe there's been a shift going on in the real estate marketing industry, and why I think most internet leads really suck. Most of you watching this probably agree if you've been, buying leads from companies like Zillow, Realtor.com. There's a ton of companies, right, that more or less all do the same thing. Boomtown, Commissions Inc., YLOPO, Curator, Real Geeks. I mean, they more or less do the same thing. But we'll talk about why what's been working for the last 5 years isn't really working anymore, and what you can do to have success with lead generation in 2018. And throughout this, I'm going to be sharing with you specific examples of Facebook ads that are working right now, as well as specific examples of realtors that have doubled or more their GCI. So again, I don't talk about in terms of number of leads you're getting, because I don't really care if you double the number of leads you're getting if your actual GCI doesn't double, right? So when we talk about results, we're always talking about results in terms of what is your actual GCI, how many closings are you getting? Because ultimately, if the marketing you're doing isn't directly creating closings, it's not working, right? Lots of marketers will try to tell you otherwise. They'll tell you to look at the social media engagement, or, look at the number of page views, or look at all these clicks we're getting. Ultimately, that doesn't matter. The only metric that you should be really measuring from your marketing is how many closings is it creating. If you're ignoring that, then the marketing is pointless. So let's dive in. I always start with this video. This is a quick 20-second video of Jonathan Garrick talking about the book High Hanging Fruit. Again, if you're just joining us, everyone is going to get a free copy of this book. But I know right now it's January, right? So over the last month, a lot of real estate agents have been creating like their business plans and their vision and their goals for 2018. You know, what do I want my GCI to be? Or, you know, what is my goals for production this year? Do I want to hit 10 million in production or 20 million, you know, in sales volume production, right? And you're making all your goals. But for a lot of agents, their goals are kind of empty because they don't have that in between, right? There's a missing link in their marketing plan. Just because you have a goal to, let's say, do, you know, a year where you have like 12 million in production, because maybe this year you did 6 million and you want to double the 12, right? Just because you have a goal of getting 12 million in production, unless you're going to start doing something different, that's more of a wish. It's not a goal, right? You have to actually know what is the next step tactically, right? How are you going to generate the number of leads that you need to hit your goals, right? So unless you have a specific plan for how you're going to generate the number of leads necessary to hit your goals, they're not really goals. They're more just like a wish, right? So I think business planning is a good idea. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It's great if you're writing down your goals and you're, you know, crafting a vision statement for 2018. That's all great. But unless you have a specific next step of how are you going to generate the number of leads necessary to hit those goals, it's kind of all fluff and ultimately meaningless, right? So when Jonathan read this book, he realized this book was the missing link that gave him then the tactical knowledge to actually take action and hit his goals. So he had read the books, you know, by Gary Keller, like The One Thing and The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, you know, basically like the Bible for real estate agents, right? Pretty much every agent I know has read some of Gary Keller's books, right? But what his books talk about are big picture business design, business planning, you know, goal setting, time management, productivity, all that stuff. High Hanging Fruit is kind of the tactical next step that is the missing link to taking your business forward. It's the tactical next step.
It's Jonathan Garrett, real estate agent in Southwest Florida with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here today to talk to you about the book High Hanging Fruit and the Platform System. And if you've ever read any of the books by Gary Keller, The One Thing or The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they give you the real big picture thinking on how to come up with a business plan and to grow your real estate business. This is the rocket fuel to that system to actually how to market your business and yourself effectively. So definitely, if you're interested in this book, pick up a copy and also contact Platform. It was one of the best business decisions I've ever made.
Awesome. So again, High Hanging Fruit can be that tactical next step for you if you already have big goals for 2018. All right. So here's one last video I want to show you guys. Just so you realize that this is legit, right? It is a live webinar. If you're just joining us, this is not a recording. It is Monday, January 29th. The Pro Bowl was yesterday. So it is a live webinar, but I want to show you this one last 20-second video. This isn't a realtor who doubled their business. They actually quadrupled it. So they didn't just double, they didn't just triple, they actually quadrupled their GCI using this high hanging fruit strategy. This is Jose. He's in Colorado Springs. Here's a quick video of him talking about what this high hanging fruit idea has meant to his business.
If you're still skeptical about high hanging fruit, let's just break down the numbers real quick. In 2013, I did 25 deals. I then implemented high hanging fruit platform so that, you know, in 2014, I went from 25 to 50 deals. In 2015, I went from 50 deals to 70 deals, baby. And now in 2016, I'm making over 100 transactions so that you know. And now that I have my team in place in 2016, just imagine what I'm going to do in 2017. Make it a phenomenal day.
So obviously this video of Jose was actually filmed in 2017, but what's interesting about this is that he doesn't have a big team. You know, so you would think that if he's doing 100 transactions, he must have a team of, 5 agents or 10 agents or something. It's actually just Jose, a buyer's agent, and an assistant. So that's what's possible with this system if you actually generate the number of leads necessary to hit your goals. So if you haven't noticed, I talk fast, so please grab a pen and paper. We're going to get through all this in an hour. Normally, this is something that I take a full day of consulting on. So essentially what I've done with this high hanging fruit training, guys, is I've taken the ideas and the tactics that I teach people in like a private consulting day, and I've tried to compress them into a webinar that's about 75 minutes long from start to finish. All right, so I do talk fast because I'm cramming 8 hours of material into 75 minutes. So if you haven't already, grab a notepad, grab a pen, pencil, please take notes. So very quickly about me, I'll spend 10 seconds on this. My name's Tim Chermak. The first book I wrote was not high-hanging fruit. The first book I wrote was actually a book called Main Street Marketing. And this was a book written for brick and mortar local small business owners, right? The whole point of this book was just introducing some lead generation strategies advertising campaigns and, new ways of thinking about marketing, I guess, for a local small business owner, right? And it wasn't specifically written for realtors. But what happened was lots of real estate agents read this book and they started emailing me saying that they were taking action on some of the ideas in the book and just getting crazy results. And so their results were just so, almost hard to believe. They're like, GCI was doubling, right? That just doesn't happen. That's not a coincidence, right? When your business doubles. And so I realized, I'm onto something here. And ultimately I started consulting with some of these realtors, dialing in their marketing system even more. And I started to really just focus on working with real estate agents because these ideas were working so well. And this was in a market, it was in a year when the market was really down overall. So I knew that, hey, if it's working now, this thing, this strategy is going to work for the long term, especially if it works in a down, slower market. So eventually I wrote the book High Hanging Fruit after I'd consulted with a bunch of realtors and kind of further refined these ideas specifically for real estate agents. So the book that you're going to get for free on this webinar is not like, it's not a brochure. It's not like a 30-page ebook or something like that. It's a legit 200-page book written specifically for realtors. I think to my knowledge, it might be one of the only books written for realtors. There's marketing books out there and there's books out there written for realtors, but there's really not a whole lot of marketing books written specifically for realtors. So this book shares all of my lead generation strategies and the philosophy of high hanging fruit, as well as specific tactical examples of how you can implement it in your business. So everyone, again, is going to get a free copy of that book. And at the end, we also have a special bonus gift for you as well. So when I do a consulting day, if I get hired by, a broker to come train their team, or sometimes I get hired by like an individual realtor to do a personal consulting day, what I usually start with is we map out on a whiteboard, where are you currently investing your time and where are you investing your money? These are the two variables that you have to tweak to move your business forward. And I'm going to tell you that you should actually be doing the opposite of what most agents do. All right. So just ask yourself, where do you invest your time and where do you invest your money? Because I think you should do the opposite of what most agents do. So if you imagine the typical sales cycle or the sales funnel, right? It's basically like an upside down triangle, right? Where it's like widest at the top, and as it gets closer to the bottom, it gets more narrow and more narrow, right? So the sales funnel, right? A bunch of leads come in at the top, and as they work their way through, it gets narrow and narrow and narrow. So you might start with, 100 leads and only end up with 2 or 3 who close, right? So just imagine that upside down triangle, right? That, sales funnel. Most agents are investing all of their time at the top of the funnel, trying to generate leads. And then with whatever money they have, they invest their money at the bottom of the funnel. So they invest their time at the top of the funnel and their money at the bottom of the funnel. So on a practical, like daily basis, what this means is to generate leads, right? They're spending time, right? So they're making a bunch of cold calls, maybe they got a list from Vulcan or RedX or, wherever, right? And maybe they bought a dialer, they have the Mojo set up. And they're just cold calling expired listings every day for like 2 hours, right? They've time blocked from 9 to 11 or from 8:30 to 10:30 or something like that, right? And they're just hitting the phones, right? Smiling and dialing. They're just cold calling the most recent expired listings, or they're cold calling for sale by owners, right? And you're using the classic script of like, hey, I might have a buyer. I'd love to come by, check it out, blah, 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 right? And this is a really dumb strategy, in my opinion, but the problem is, it works, right? So I will admit this strategy works because of the law of large numbers, right? So if you've ever attended a training, you know, like the Bold class with Keller Williams, right? They don't always explicitly teach to make cold calls to expired listings, but that ends up being what a lot of agents do that, you know, that go through the Bold program, right? Is they end up making a bunch of cold calls, usually to expired listings. And, you know, 95 times out of 100, if not 99 times out of 100, you don't set an appointment. But if you make enough calls, you do set appointments. And so that's the scary thing about it, is that if you do it enough, it works. But we'll get to this in a second. That ultimately ends up becoming the constraint in your business. That's what will prevent you from growing, is this strategy, because it works. And so what most agents do is they invest their time to generate leads, you know, in the form of just time blocking and making a bunch of cold calls, right? They might, you know, volunteer at local charities or groups in the community. Maybe they're volunteering at the United Way, or they're volunteering a lot at their church, because they're trying to get their name out there and just, you know, stay top of mind, right, with their sphere of influence, their friends and family. So they invest their time at the top of the funnel generating leads. Maybe they're in a BNI group, right? And they're just trying to constantly network with other professionals in the area. So when people think real estate, they think of you, right? Most agents throughout your career have been taught essentially to invest your time to generate leads. And with whatever marketing budget you have, right, whether it's $3,000 a month you have for advertising or $300 a month, whatever money you have for advertising, you're investing it at the bottom of the funnel, essentially buying leads, right? You're buying leads from Zillow, or you're buying leads from Realtor.com, right? The reason I think that's dangerous is look at the verb we use when we describe that. We say buying leads, like the verb buy, as if leads are like a commodity that's bought and sold. These are real people, right? And so when we reduce lead generation to just this like simplistic transaction of buying leads from Zillow or buying leads from Realtor.com, I think we're missing the point, and we're missing a huge opportunity. Because if we're buying leads at the bottom of the funnel, like by definition, that's low-hanging fruit, right? By definition, that's low-hanging fruit. If it's a lead that's just bought and sold and they're basically ready to go, that's low-hanging fruit. That's where all the competition is. We don't really want to be investing our time in such a way where we're calling leads that are also getting called from 10 other realtors at the same time. And it's basically a game of chance, seeing who can get them on the phone first, right? That's not really a game I want to base my entire business around, is trying to compete, you know, against other teams that probably have dialers set up and ISAs and all that, trying to see who can call them first, right? If I'm going to grow my business and I'm going to invest my own money, you know, growing my real estate business, I don't want to invest my money in such a way where that's where all the competition is, right? So we're going to do the opposite. Rather than investing our time at the top of the funnel and our money, you know, buying leads at the bottom of the funnel, we're going to do the opposite. So high hanging fruit tells us, let's actually invest our money at the top of the funnel, generating leads, you know, generating our own leads at the top of the funnel, so that we only have to invest our time at the bottom of the funnel, following up with leads that are already warmed up for us. All right, so let me say that again. We're going to invest our money, you know, again, whether it's $3,000 or $300 a month, right? We're going to invest our money at the top of the funnel, generating leads. So we're going to build out a marketing system, a lead generation system, hopefully specifically using Facebook ads. And we'll get to that in a second. But we want to basically cut out the middleman. So we don't want to be dependent on a company, you know, like Curator or Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or, you know, Realtor.com or Zillow, right? We don't want to be dependent on these outside companies for our leads, because those are essentially just a middleman for leads, right? So we're going to cut out the middleman. We're going to invest our money at the top of the funnel, building our own marketing system, so that we only have to invest our time at the bottom of the funnel. So again, the opposite of what other agents are doing, so that we only invest our time at the bottom of the funnel, following up with leads that are already warmed up for us, right? Leads that aren't being called by 10 other realtors that, you know, Zillow sold their information to, right? Following up with warm leads is a game changer for your business. If you're used to making calls to, you know, expired listings, FSBOs, or even frankly calling leads from Zillow or Realtor.com, because that's not necessarily a cold call, right? If you get a lead from Zillow, but it kind of feels like it, because they didn't specifically want to talk to you, and they're probably getting called from 5 other agents or 10 other agents, right? So even from just a peace of mind perspective, it's a lot more fun in your business when you know the leads that you're calling every day are your exclusive leads that you generated yourself, and your marketing system has already warmed them up for you, right? So you'll never have to make a cold call again. Because of that, most agents that time block, they probably spend 2 hours a day just making phone calls, right? Because they need to get a certain amount of touches, a certain number of calls to set a certain ratio of appointments, and then they know their ratio of the number of appointments they set, the number of buyers they'll get, or the number of listings they'll get, and it's all just a numbers game, right? I would rather take a quality over quantity approach. I would rather let my marketing system generate warm leads for me and then only have to spend maybe 45 minutes a day following up, because I can accomplish more in 45 minutes a day of calling warm leads than most people can in 2.5 hours of cold calling people, right? Because in that 45 minutes, I'm calling people that actually signed up and specifically are waiting for my call. They want to hear from me. They actually requested more information, and my marketing system has warmed them up so that they're expecting my call, right? I can do way more in 45 minutes a day of that than most people can do in 2.5 hours, right? So this system is actually scalable, right? That's the important thing. It's actually scalable. So if you're on a limited budget, please pay attention here, because you're probably thinking, well, yeah, that's great if you have thousands and thousands of dollars a month to spend on lead generation, but how does it work if I only have a couple $100s a month to throw at marketing, right? This works out really, really well for you too, because as I said, if you cut out the middleman, so think of all the big companies that realtors love sending their money to every month, right? The Zillows and Syncs and Curators and Boomtowns and YLOPO and Realtor.com, all these companies, right? They're essentially a middleman, right? They're getting clicks for you, and then they charge you a bunch of money and then sell leads to you, right? Essentially their business model is they're a middleman for leads. If we cut out the middleman and we generate leads at the top of the tree, right? High hanging fruit. We're getting leads that are ready to go in 3 months, 4 months, maybe even they're 5 months away from being ready to go. So it's late January right now. So we're talking about, hey, some of these leads might not be ready to go until May or June, right? But the advantage of doing that is we have no competition. You're not competing against other agents for those leads. How all of online marketing works today, in 2018, is it's an auction system. The algorithm that makes Facebook work and the algorithm that makes Google work is based on an implicit auction system. So the more people are bidding on a certain keyword, or the more people are bidding to reach a certain audience on Facebook, right? The more expensive those clicks are. So the higher we go up the sales cycle, guys, if we're targeting people that are ready to go in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, those clicks are way cheaper because there's no competition for those clicks, right? It's just basic junior high economics, supply and demand, right? If there's no competition for those clicks, the clicks are cheaper, therefore the leads are cheaper. So what this means for you on a very, very practical level is that rather than paying $20 a lead, or sometimes more, $30 a lead, I've seen some agents pay, you can get leads for as little as $3 a piece. In some instances, I've seen leads for $2 a piece off of Facebook. So that means even if all you had was a $300 a month budget, you could probably get 75 to 100 leads every single month for even a $300 budget, right? You can see how I'm not bullshitting you when I say that, hey, agents have doubled their business using this high-hanging fruit strategy. Because if you could generate an extra 75 leads a month or an extra 100 leads a month, a lot of our agents generate 200 leads a month. So that's every week they're getting 50 fresh leads, right? Monday through Friday, that means they're getting 10 leads every single day. If you could generate that many leads every month, it's really not hard to see that your business could double, like your GCI could double, right? Because that's ultimately all that matters, is that your GCI is growing, not just number of leads, but GCI, right? So here's a quick text I want to show you. This is a realtor in Wisconsin. And the only reason I'm showing you this text is that, yeah, they got some pre-approvals. Hey, he says it really does work. The reason I'm showing you this is that he's 19 years old. And so if a real estate agent who's 19 years old can make this high-hanging fruit strategy work, you can too. He's 19. I mean, he just graduated high school, basically, right? If he can make this work, you can too. His name's Keaton, and he's in Wisconsin. So let's talk about the plateau that you hit in your business. I mentioned earlier that the beauty of this high-hanging fruit philosophy, if you look at the big picture of your business, is that it's actually scalable, right? buying leads from a Zillow or a Realtor.com or wherever you're getting your leads, right? I'm not meaning to pick on any company over another because they're more or less all the same, right? But buying leads puts you in a very difficult place in your business where your time becomes the main constraint on the growth of your business. Because if your growth has come from buying a bunch of leads from Zillow or buying a bunch of leads, from Commissions Inc. or Boomtown, or maybe you signed up for, an expired listing software and it's, sending you every day the latest expired listings, the day they hit the market. And you're, spending 90 minutes a day or 2 hours a day just cold calling expired listings, right? Your time, as we said, is the main ingredient in the lead generation. If your time is the main ingredient in the lead generation, that means to grow your business, you have to keep investing more time, right? So if you're at if you're at a two hours a day rather, and you want to grow your business by 50%, what are you going to do? Start making 3 hours a day of cold calls? That just doesn't work. If you were already calling from, 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning, at a certain point, you're not just going to cold call every day from, 8:30 to 11:30, because you have to leave enough time in your day to actually be a realtor, right? Like actually go out, show homes, go on listing appointments. You have to have time to negotiate contracts, to probably attend some home inspections, do all the things that are just involved with being a realtor on a daily basis, right? If you're spending 3 hours every day making calls to generate leads, that's taking away time that you can actually be an agent. And you're probably not giving very good service to your clients if you're spending all morning just trying to generate leads, right? So if your time is the main ingredient in your business, you will always hit a plateau, and your time actually becomes your worst enemy because it got you to where you are, but it now becomes the constraint on your business because time is not scalable. When I do consulting days with clients and I ask them, I just see this answer over and over and over again. I ask them if they've plateaued on their business, and if they have experienced a plateau before where maybe for a couple years in a row, they were just stuck at the same number of transactions. Repeatedly, what I hear is that, they get stuck right around 30 closings a year. So, sometimes it's 28 closings, sometimes it's 34, obviously it's not literally 30 on the dot, but right around 30 transactions a year, agents hit a plateau, right? It's not 20, it's usually not 45, it's right around 30 a year. And the reason is right about that time, when they're doing about 30 transactions a year, right, they run out of time. Like if you're doing, let's say 33 transactions a year and last year you did 29, right? And you're kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, I've hit a plateau. What's happening is you're actually running out of time in the day, because I don't even have to ask you. I already know that, let's say you did 34 transactions last year. So in 2017, you did 34 transactions. I don't even have to ask you. I already know that you're probably working 50 hours a week or more, right? And that usually gets a laugh from a client when I ask them, hey, do you work 40 hours a week? Because America thinks that 40 hours a week is a full-time job. And most realtors are 40 hours a week, what do you do after Wednesday? Because it's kind of a running joke that 40 hours a week, that's a part-time job, right? Most realtors I know that are top producers are, not even working 50 hours a week. Often they're working 60 hours a week, right? And so I already know, without even having to ask you, that if you did let's say 34 transactions last year, you're probably working 50 hours a week or more, right? And so what that means is that to double your business, if you want to go from about 30 to 60 transactions a year, you can't just double the inputs, right? Because the inputs don't scale. Your time is not linear, right? You can't just start working 100 hours a week and then expect your business to grow from 30 to 60, because that's impossible, right? So something qualitative has to change, right? We have to start looking at the independent variables in your business that then affect the dependent variables, right? So I see agents all the time hit a plateau at about 30 transactions a year because the main ingredient in their business is the H word, hustle. What got them to 30 transactions a year was just hard work, sales, hustle, right? They're always responding to phone calls. They're talking with clients on nights and weekends. They're attending open houses. They're sitting open houses. They're, spending all, every single weekend driving around their clients on, showings. They're responding to all phone calls, even from unknown numbers, right? They're willing to sit some office hours, maybe get some walk-in office leads. They're asking their friends and family for referrals. They're just straight up hustling, right? And the problem is, and this is a problem, so you have to start thinking about it as a problem. The problem is hustle will get you to like 30 transactions a year, which is great, right? I mean, if you're doing 30 transactions a year, you're easily making over $100,000 a year, maybe even $200,000 a year in many markets, right? Or more. The problem is that hustle can get you there, but it's actually the exact thing that'll prevent you from going to the next level in your business. Because if you're dependent on just hard work and hustle and making a bunch of cold calls every day, your actual time is the constraint on your business. And so what'll get you to the next level where you're not doing, 30 deals a year, you're doing 60. It's not sales, it's not hustle, it's marketing, specifically lead generation. So you need to build a marketing system that exists independently of you. So instead of making 2.5 hours of cold calls every day, you can work that down to only about 45 minutes of making warm calls, calling leads that are warmed up for you by your marketing system, because that's actually scalable. So you can actually do more transactions and then free up time in your business so that you're spending more time working with clients. That's actually scalable.
Hey guys, Paul Gillespie team at Keller Williams Gateway. Before I met Tim and implemented the platform marketing system, I was selling about 15 houses a year. I'm 3 years into it. The second year, I sold 25. This year, I'm going to sell 60. And then next year, our goal is to sell 100. So the platform system is a real deal. I could not have scaled my business so quickly without it. Thank you.
So again, that's Paul. He quadrupled his business, but he broke right through that plateau, right? He didn't get hung up on 30 transactions a year. He went from 15 to 25 to 60 deals a year because he focused on lead generation, right? So it's not just about generating a bunch more leads, right? If you want to take your business to the next level, you actually have to free up more of your time, because if you're generating more leads, you'll need to free up more of your time to follow up with the increased number of leads, right? That's why agents hit a plateau. Is they're like, oh, I want to, crush my goals in 2018. And so they invest in some marketing system and they start buying a bunch of leads, but they don't solve the underlying problem that they probably don't even have time in their business to follow up with all those leads, right? So we want to solve that for you by structuring it right from the get-go, all right? That's what this whole high-hanging fruit strategy, this whole platform strategy is all about. By the way, I know that you see platform in the bottom corner. When I say high-hanging fruit strategy or platform strategy, I mean the same thing. The title of the book is called High-Hanging Fruit, but the name of our company is called Platform. So again, you might hear me say the platform strategy or the high-hanging fruit strategy. Those basically just mean the same thing. So let's dive into why internet leads are so damn expensive now compared to like 5 years ago, and how if you cut out the middleman, you can get cheaper leads again, just like you were able to get probably, in 2011, 2012, 2013, right? So it is possible. You just have to think about the big picture of what's going on here and cut out the middleman. So Google has been like the main player on the stage for the last, call it 10 years, right? Most agents, whether they know it or not, are getting their leads from Google. And you might think, no, I'm not getting my leads from Google. I get my leads from, Commissions Inc., or I get my leads from Ylopo, or I get my leads from Boomtown, or I get my leads from Realtor.com. I'm not getting them from Google. Well, where do you think all those companies get their leads from, right? Where do you think Realtor.com gets their leads? Where do you think Zillow gets its leads? They get it from Google, right? So if you're buying leads from any of the companies I just mentioned, you're buying your leads ultimately from Google, and there's just a middleman in the equation, right? So what we want to do is cut out the middleman. If you cut out the middleman, you can essentially buy leads for the wholesale price instead of the retail price. That's what high-hanging fruit is all about. So when you do that, it's now possible again to get leads for $2 a piece, $3 a piece, $4 a piece, where every $100 you spend on ads should be bringing in 25 to 30 leads. So let me say that again. If you structure these high-hanging fruit lead generation campaigns the right way, and I'll show you the specific Facebook ads in a second to do that. But if you structure them the right way, every $100 you spend should bring in 25 to 30 leads. And so you can see it's not really hard to move your business forward and, you know, exponentially grow your business if every $100 you spent brought in 25 to 30 leads, right? I mean, that's just how the math works out. So what we do is we first need to understand what is going on with Google, what is going on with the real estate industry right now. Anyone who has been buying leads online, whether you've been getting them from Zillow or you were actually maybe doing pay-per-click campaigns yourself on Google, like you were actually getting leads directly from Google, you would know that 5 years ago, leads were a lot cheaper, right? Leads were a lot cheaper. If you were spending, let's just say an even number, like $1,000 a month on advertising, that $1,000 a month was getting you a lot more leads 5 years ago than $1,000 a month today. Now, we don't have that much inflation in just 5 years, right? So you can't just say, oh, it's just inflation, right? What's actually going on is that there's way more agents now trying to use digital marketing, buying the leads, and they're competing on those keywords, bidding against each other, and it's bidding up the cost per click. And if the cost per click is more expensive, guess what? The cost per lead is more expensive. And these companies aren't just going to absorb that cost, right? Whether it's Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, you know, all of them, right? They're not just going to eat that cost. They pass on that cost to you as the ultimate end consumer, right? You're buying the leads, and so the leads are just more expensive for you, right? Being that's the case, again, if you cut out the middleman, the leads become cheaper. So what's happened in the last about 5 years, and you know, maybe it's 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. It's not an exact day that this happened, right? It's been a gradual process, but I'm going to call it about the last 5 years. Is digital marketing has become really popular with realtors, right? Even just 5 years ago, there was a much higher percentage of agents that were sinking their marketing dollars into direct mail, into billboards, into print ads, maybe in the newspaper, right? Radio ads, right? Agents are starting to realize, you know, in 2017 and now we're in 2018, they're starting to realize that, like, hey, if I want to be like a modern agent, I can't be spending all this money on radio ads or on billboards or on, you know, print newspaper advertising, right? Because that just usually doesn't get you a ton of return, right? And they're shifting their marketing dollars online. So all these millions and millions and millions of dollars, because it's not hundreds of thousands, guys. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars of all the agents around the country, right? They're shifting all this advertising budget towards online spend. So what it's doing is bidding up the cost of these keywords. But so that's what's happening on the demand side, because every economic equation, right, has supply and demand. So the demand has gone way up, right? Because realtors are just basically starting to realize that if they're going to compete in the future, they need to be present online, right? So the demand has gone way up, but the supply side has stayed basically the same. And so the number of Americans right now that are buying homes, like the rate of home ownership in America, of, you know, the percentage of the population, right, per capita buying a house every year, really, like, fundamentally hasn't changed in the last 5 years. Like, roughly the same amount of people are buying homes today as they were back in 2012, 2013, right? So that number hasn't really changed. The same number of people are searching for homes online today as they were back then, but the number of realtors that are trying to buy leads and they're trying to advertise to these people searching online has skyrocketed, right? So we learned about this in like junior high economics, probably the very first lesson of your economics class in like middle school, right? Supply and demand. What happens when demand goes way up and supply stays the same? Prices rise, right? So that's what's been going on in the real estate industry. As more and more people are trying to, you know, buy leads. Again, it's not just Zillow and Realtor. It's not just these like portal websites, right? It's everything. It's Commissions Inc., Boomtown, Curator, YLOPO, Real Geeks, all the other, you know, IDX websites you can think of, right? They're essentially all getting their leads from Google. And if they're selling leads to you, they have to make a profit. The leads become much more expensive over time, right? And so that's what's happened. Leads are just much more expensive now. So again, as a frame of reference, if you were spending $1,000 a month on advertising 5 years ago, you were getting way more leads for $1,000 a month 5 years ago than you're getting today, right? It's just because the cost has become so much more expensive, right? So what we do to avoid this problem is we climb higher up the tree. We go higher up the sales cycle, right? So most agents are reacting to this problem by just throwing more money at it, right? They're like, oh, I'm getting fewer leads from Boomtown, or I'm getting fewer leads from Zillow. I'm just going to increase my ad spend, right? I guess I'll just have to start spending more money to get the same amount of leads, right? So they're just reacting by throwing money at it, which actually in an auction algorithm like Google and like Facebook operate on, throwing more money at it actually just makes the problem worse, because now you're bidding up the keywords. You're essentially competing against yourself. It makes it even more expensive, right? So throwing more money at the problem is a very temporary Band-Aid solution, because ultimately over time, it just pushes up the price even more. So we want to avoid that conflict entirely, and we're going to play a new game. We're going to build a high-hanging fruit marketing system that avoids Google basically entirely and uses Facebook ads. Facebook is still the wild, wild west of online advertising, right? Facebook is where Google was like 10 years ago, right? Where people know it exists, they know you can buy ads on it, but no one really knows what they're doing. And so there's huge opportunity with Facebook ads right now. So Google now is a very mature platform. Tons of agents are on it. All the main companies that I've listed here, that's where they're getting their leads, is Google. So that's where all the competition is. It's really expensive, right? Facebook is the wild, wild west of online advertising. So I always start right from the get-go, and I tell people that if you're just trying to think of new fancy ways to kind of outsmart Google's, search algorithm, like, you're fighting a losing battle, right? If you're just trying to throw more money at it, you're fighting a losing battle. We need to switch entirely from kind of a Google framework to the world of Facebook, right? Facebook ads, you still can get leads for $2 a piece, $3 a piece. The cost per clicks, and the cost per lead is what Google was 5, even 10 years ago, right? So right off the bat, shift your focus, I guess, from Google-centric advertising to Facebook-centric advertising, right? Because if you do that, it is still possible to get leads for like $3 a piece consistently, right? And Facebook totally works perfectly with this high-hanging fruit philosophy, because when people go on social media, they're not looking for homes. They're going on social media to be entertained, right? They're going on social media to see photos and videos of their friends and family, and follow the pages that they've liked, right? They're not necessarily going on there to search for homes. So it actually works perfectly for this high-hanging fruit strategy. Because if we can just get them to opt in extremely early in the sales cycle, when they're still 3, 4, maybe even 5 months away, maybe even 6 months away from being ready to buy or sell a house, and they're just casually on Facebook, if we can casually get them to opt in with something that's like, low pressure, and we're not just going to call them 100 times the first day to try to set an appointment, right? This actually works perfectly for Facebook, or for a high-hanging fruit, rather, using Facebook ads early in the sales cycle. Because all we're trying to do right away is build trust, build rapport, when they're still 3, 4, 5 months away, so that by the time they get to the point when normally they would go on Zillow or go on Realtor.com and opt in, to search for, some homes, and boom, they get called from, 12 different agents within 2 hours, right? By the time they get to that point psychologically, where they normally start searching for homes on a portal website like Realtor or Zillow, they're already in our system. We've already been following up with them for a couple months. Hopefully, we've even had a couple phone conversations with them. We've been texting, or we've been emailing back and forth, right? They don't view other agents as competition. They're not going to interview other agents. They already view you as their realtor, right? So we're essentially fishing upstream. We're intercepting all the leads early in the sales cycle. So by the time they get to that point, they're already loyal to you, right? That's how this works. That's how this lead generation philosophy works, all right? So let's start talking about these specific Facebook ads that you should be using to generate these leads every month. All right, so we're going to talk about some specific Facebook ads, and then I'm going to give you a free copy of our book, High Hanging Fruit. And then after that is kind of a bonus gift for joining us on the webinar. If you're interested, I'll tell you more about Platform and how we can just take over all this for you, manage your marketing for you. And again, if you're interested, we'll actually offer you a trial month of Platform just for joining us on the webinar as kind of a surprise bonus gift on top of the book, High Hanging Fruit. All right, so right now, let's talk about some of the Facebook ads that you can use that will actually generate leads. So usually when I start talking about Facebook ads, I need to get the foundation right. Like, I need you to start thinking differently about lead generation before we even get into like what headlines to use, what targeting to use, you know, what ads work, right? So let's talk about just the concept of offering value, because that's something I think a lot of us miss when we create our Facebook ad campaigns. And so what is the reason someone opts in, right? Have you ever asked yourself, like, when someone sees one of my ads, whether it's a billboard, a print ad, you know, it doesn't have to be an ad online. So I'm not just talking about digital advertising. I'm talking about whether they see a billboard or whether they get a direct mailer from you or hear your ad on the radio or wherever you're advertising right now, right? Why should they opt in? Have you ever asked yourself that? Like, why should they opt in? Like, what compelling reason are you giving them to give you their name, their email, or maybe their phone number, right? Because I think a lot of us actually, if we're honest with ourselves, are kind of entitled about this. There's an attitude of entitlement where we think that, you know, hey, like, if you want to search for homes, you should give me your name and email and your phone number, you know, just because, right? We're not really offering them anything of value, though. Like, it's not really a fair trade. And that's how you should be thinking about it, is a fair trade, right? So when you were little, maybe you traded, you know, Barbies with your friends, and you traded like the Barbie accessories. Or if you were a guy, you know, maybe you collected baseball cards and you traded baseball cards with your friends, right? We didn't really need to be taught this. Most of us just intuitively understood, even at a young age, that if you're going to trade something, it needs to be a fair trade, right? Because as soon as you rip someone off even once, or even try to rip someone off, like even trying to make an unfair trade, you will lose trust with people because now they can't trust you, right? So we understood this, again, even at a young age. If we were trading baseball cards, if you had like a Babe Ruth like rookie card, right? You would never trade a Babe Ruth rookie card for some random player that no one's ever heard of, right? You would understand that, hey, if I have a Babe Ruth rookie card, I better get fair value for it. So if I'm going to trade that, I better get a bunch of really good cards in return for it because this card is, you know, worth a lot, right? So we understood even at an early age we need to offer real value in any trade, right? But most real estate agents aren't doing that with their ads, right? They're basically asking people to click, asking people to opt in, and they're not actually giving them anything valuable in return. I think of it like a trade, right? You're going to give me your name, your email, and your phone number, and in exchange for that, I will give you something valuable in return, right? Marketing is that simple, guys. Like, marketing is that simple. So if you're taking notes right now, please grab a pen and paper and write this down. Lead generation is as simple as offering something of value in exchange for someone's contact information. So please write that down. Lead generation is as simple as offering something of value in exchange for someone's contact information. Now, where most agents are screwing up is they're not offering anything of value, right? They just think that people should give me their contact information just because, right? I mean, think of the reason you're on this webinar right now. You are on this webinar listening to me talk right now because we offered you a free copy of my book, High Hanging Fruit. Right? That's the real reason you're on the webinar right now. Like, I'm not stupid. I know that. I know that you weren't so interested in learning about this high-hanging fruit strategy that you were willing to invest, you know, an hour of your time on a Monday morning, right? I know that to kind of entice you, to encourage you to make it a fair trade, to ask for your name, your email, and your phone number, I had to make it a fair trade. So what did I do? I offered you a free copy of my book because that kind of changed the value equation in your mind. When you saw the Facebook ad, you know, last weekend, and you saw, hey, if I go on this webinar, I'll get a free copy of the book. You're like, huh, well, you know, I probably don't want to give these guys, right? I probably don't want to give these guys my name, you know, my email, my phone number, but I would really like a free copy of that book. So I guess that's a fair trade. Like, yeah, sure. You know, so giving the free book provided enough value so that you could justify making the trade, because that's exactly what it was, guys. It was a trade. It was, we're going to offer you a free book in exchange for your name, email, and phone number. That's a fair trade, right? So the reason you're listening to me talk right now is because we structured that ad in such a way where it was a fair trade. We were actually offering real value, right? But lead generation is as simple as offering something of value in exchange for someone's contact information, right? Most of us have this thought that the reason our ads aren't working is that there must be some shortage of people out there that are just willing to sign up anymore. Oh, there's just a shortage of people that are willing to give their name and their email and phone number. No, that's BS. The problem isn't that there's a shortage of people willing to give their contact information. The problem is that there's a shortage of real estate agents that are offering anything of value in their ads that are worth signing up for, right? I mean, think about that. Again, there's not a shortage of people searching for houses online right now. There's not a shortage of people willing to sign up and give their contact information. If that were true, you know, websites like Realtor.com and Zillow wouldn't exist, but they're billion-dollar companies, right? So the problem isn't that there's a shortage. The problem is that there's a shortage of real estate agents that are offering anything of value in their ads, right? That's the real problem. So think of like the current state of lead generation right now for most realtors, right? How pretty much the entire industry works. Seriously, it's not 60% or 70% or 80%. I'm talking like 99%, right? 99% of real estate leads are generated the same way. It's, you know, you get a website, right? Maybe it's from Boomtown, maybe it's from Commissions Inc., maybe it's from Real Geeks, you know, Curator, Playster is the new one, right? Maybe you have a Playster website, and your website has IDX, right? So you can show all the listings, and people can search for listings on your website, right? And someone lands on your website, and then they get a pop-up, right? Maybe after they've searched for 3 or 4 homes, like boom, they get a pop-up, and it says, hey, to continue searching for homes, please create an account, right? And it asks for name, email, phone number, right? And it won't let them look at any more houses until they create an account, right? Or sometimes I've seen it where rather than, you know, based off of number of houses, there's an invisible timer on the website, and the pop-up pops up after someone's been on your website for 25 seconds, right? And then boom, they get a pop-up. And again, it says, hey, give me your name, email, phone number, and create an account, and then you can continue searching for homes, right? The problem with this approach is that it's not offering value, right? Most of these pop-ups, just so you guys know, it's the same with every company. So I'm not picking on one specific company. Every company I just mentioned that does these websites, the conversion rate's usually less than 5%. And so if you get 100 unique visitors to your website, you'd be lucky to get 5 actual leads out of 100, right? So a 5% conversion rate. That's terrible, right? And then on top of that, to make matters worse, most of us know that, you know, if you've been using Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or, you know, any of those websites, right? Half the leads are fake. They're fake names, fake emails, fake phone numbers, right? And if we're being honest, it really shouldn't be that surprising that there's like an epidemic right now in the real estate industry of fake leads. It really shouldn't be that surprising, because if that's how we're generating leads, it's really offering no value whatsoever. It's not really a fair trade. It's more like a hostage situation. It's like, oh, someone was casually searching for homes on your website, and boom, you hit them with a pop-up, and you're basically demanding that they give you name, email, and phone number, or else they can't look for any more, you know, homes on your website. That's not a fair trade. That's a hostage situation. So it really shouldn't be surprising that half those leads that come in are basically fake. It's fake names, fake emails, fake phone numbers, because you would probably do the same thing, right? We forget that if we're guarding, you know, access to an IDX website by demanding that someone create an account, right? What do? They'll probably just go to somewhere that doesn't require them to create an account, because the last thing people want to do in 2018 is sign up on another email newsletter, you know, another business's email list, right? And so they get another set of autoresponders from someone, right? That's the last thing they want to do. They're already on way too many email lists. They don't want to subscribe to one more. So they put a fake email address, or what most people do, 95% to be accurate. 95% of people do this. If I just look at the math, right? 95% of people just go to Realtor.com or they go to Zillow, because they're not required to create an account there just to look at homes, right? The only way on Zillow or on Realtor.com you have to sign up is if you want to like contact an agent to set up a showing, right? And so they leave your website, and then they go to Realtor.com or Zillow, and then those websites sell that contact information, or that person's contact information, back to you. For all you know, it might have been someone who was on your website right before they went there, right? And so this is a terrible way of generating leads because it doesn't offer value. So again, just ask yourself, like, you were on this webinar, like this morning, you're listening to me talk right now, right? You're on this webinar because we actually offered you real value. So the starting premise of the starting premise of any Facebook ad or any lead generation campaign I create ever is that it needs to actually offer value if it's going to work. If you offer value, the Facebook ad will work. So you have to come up with something interesting enough, valuable enough for someone to actually, if they were to consciously think about it, they're like, I don't really want to give this real estate agent my name, email, and phone number, but that's a really good deal. So yeah, I'm willing to make that trade, right? Put yourself in their shoes. Would you be willing to make the trade? So here's some insider baseball, right? On this webinar, we had about 1,000 people sign up, register for it. We had 200 people rather sign up for it, but we spent about $1,000 on the ad. So for us on this webinar, our cost per lead was right around about $5 per lead. Because again, we spent $1,000, we got 200 people to sign up for the webinar. And so that's right around, $5 cost per lead. And that's us targeting real estate agents for this webinar across the entire United States of America. And we still got a $5 cost per lead. And it's because we offered a free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit, right? And so if you can use the same strategy, maybe you can offer some sort of free report or free guide or free book to your market, your leads would probably actually be cheaper than $5 a piece because you're micro-targeting a specific area, maybe a 5-mile radius area where we're targeting the entire United States of America. And that is an ad that I've seen work. You can write a free report about your market, like what you need to know before buying a home, or like 10 marketing tips for homeowners thinking about selling their home. But actually make it a book. Don't make it like, a BS like 5-page download or something that you didn't actually write, right? Make it a legit book. I've seen agents who are willing to write a real book and they're getting leads for like $2 to $3 a piece, and they'll physically send the book in the mail to people that are interested. So that's an example of a Facebook ad that can work, is offering a free book to your market. Because obviously the beauty of that is that on the squeeze page, you can ask them, hey, tell me where to send your book. And then they have to give you real contact information, like their real email, their real home address and all that stuff, because you're just asking them, hey, tell me where to send your book, right? So just right there, that eliminates once and for all the problem of fake contact information. Please write this down if you're taking notes. If you actually offer something that people actually want, you won't get fake contact information. If you actually are offering something that people actually want, you won't get fake contact information. Because if your ad says, hey, tell us where to send your free report, and they put a fake address or a fake email address or whatever, you won't know where to send it, so they're not going to get it. So you're basically implying, hey, you better give me your real email address or your real home address. You better give me, your real contact information, or else I can't send you this free book or this free report or a free video series maybe you filmed. I've seen agents who filmed a top 5 neighborhoods video series, and they got leads from Facebook for $1 a piece. They spent $100 on the ad and got 100 leads for a top 5 neighborhoods list, right? So there's an idea of a Facebook ad. You film 5 quick videos and you create a video report, 5 quick 1-minute videos of your top 5 favorite neighborhoods. And then you run an ad offering, hey, I'll send you the video report, just opt in here. And then no one's going to give you fake email, fake names, because they kind of understand that, hey, if I put something fake here, he'll send it to the wrong link. So I need to give him my actual email address, right? So that's one ad that's worked well. We got leads for about $1 doing that. Probably my favorite, though, that I talk about in trainings, if I'm doing consulting with people, is an ad that I call the Pool Homes Report. So if you're taking notes, definitely write this down. My favorite ad right now in Facebook that's generating leads for our platform clients is the Pool Homes Report. It's basically a Facebook ad that offers a free report of homes for sale in your area that have a pool, right? So what the Facebook ad would say is, let's say you're in like Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? It would say attention Tulsa. So that's usually the headline I like using, because it doesn't look like an ad, then it kind of just grabs their attention, because it almost looks like a PSA. It looks like a special important public announcement, right? So it would say, attention Tulsa. I've created a free list of all the homes currently for sale in Tulsa that have a pool. To view the homes, click here, and then I'll create a landing page, www.tulsapoolhomesreport.com. So it says I've created a free report of all the homes for sale here in Tulsa that have a pool. To view the homes, click here, and then again, www.tulsapoolhomesreport.com, right? And if they click that, then it brings them to a landing page where I'm just asking them for their contact information, right? And on that landing page, it's pretty obvious that if you put fake contact information, you're not going to get that Tulsa Pool Homes report because I won't know where to send it to, right? So no one puts a fake email because they understand that, like, hey, I need to put my real, like, legit email address or else, you know, they'll send it to the wrong one, right? So usually the Facebook ad itself is like a photo of, you know, of like one of the homes for sale in your area that has a pool, so people know it's like a real legit list. And so that's what the Facebook ad looks like. On the targeting, usually we target people over the age of 30 that are homeowners, or sometimes what I do is I'll target people over the age of 30 that have a college degree. And here's what makes this work, because I know a lot of you are probably thinking right now, well, that sounds great, I guess, but I don't have a lot of homes with pools in my area. Or you may be thinking like, I don't want a bunch of like buyer leads. I don't want a bunch of, you know, people that want a house with a pool. I want some listing leads, or I want some seller leads, or, you know, why are you targeting people that want a pool home? What's so special about that? Here's what makes this ad work so well. The real reason that we're offering a free report of homes with a pool is that it generates seller leads. Because what we know is that statistically, like 99% of people that are buying a house with a pool, they're not first-time home buyers. They're move-up buyers, right? So like 99% of the time, they're not first-time home buyers. So if you're getting leads of people that want to buy a home with a pool, statistically, it's almost a certainty that they're existing homeowners and that they'll be a move-up buyer, which means that for you, that lead is kind of like a buy one, get one free, right? You're going to get that lead, and then you'll get the listing of their current home, as well as you can assist them on the move-up purchase of their house with the pool. So again, the real reason we do it isn't that we're trying to target, you know, homes with pools or anything like that. It's that we know that this is generating consistently listing leads, because these people have a home that they need to list and sell before they could move up into, you know, a more expensive home with a pool, right? So this is the way that we use Facebook ads to generate not just buyer leads, but actually listing leads. If you target this the right way, again, usually the Facebook ad is targeting people that are over the age of 30, that are homeowners, or sometimes we'll do people over the age of 30 that have a college degree, right? You should be able to pretty consistently get leads using this Pool Homes Report ad for about $3 a piece. So every $100 that you spend on the ad should bring in about 33 leads. Again, every $100 you spend on this ad should bring in 33 leads, because the cost per lead is $3 a piece. So this ad is amazing. This is an ad that we run for pretty much all of our platform clients, all the realtors that hire us across the country. This ad's basically running for all of them, just because it works so well to actually generate seller leads. So most people think that it's impossible to get seller leads from Facebook. Guess what? You're wrong. I just gave you an ad that consistently works to get that. But maybe you're in a really, really rural market, right? Maybe you're in a small town in the Midwest or something, and you're like, hey, there's just hardly any homes, you know, in my area that have pools, so I don't think that ad will work for me. Well, cool. We have an ad that will work for you. We basically took the same idea as this Pool Homes Report, and we kind of translated it into a more rural area. Or again, if you're anywhere in the Midwest, or maybe you're in the Mountain West somewhere where there's not a ton of pool homes, maybe you're up in Michigan or something where, you know, people aren't really clicking on ads for pool homes in January, right? What we've done instead is we'll create an acreage homes report, right? So we take the same idea as the pool homes list, and we launch an ad like the acreage homes report, right? So this is offering a free report of homes for sale with acreage. And again, we're not just trying to get buyers who want land. That's not the reason we're running the ad. The real reason we are running the ad is that we know that anyone who's looking to buy a home, you know, that has an acre or more, again, statistically, they're probably not a first-time home buyer. They probably already have a home, they're living in their starting home, and they're looking to upgrade, they're looking to move up to a larger house with acreage. So this lead is a twofer for you. It's like a buy one, get one, right? You'll get the listing lead to list, you know, and sell their current home, and you'll get to represent them on the buy side when they move up to a home with some acreage. right? And so it's the same exact ad. It says, you know, like, attention, let's say you're in Madison, Wisconsin. It would say, like, attention, Madison. I've created a report of all the homes for sale here in Madison that have at least 1 acre or more, or you could say that have at least half an acre or more, right? Like, however you want to word it for your specific market, you can always tweak it. But, you know, I've created a special report of homes for sale here in Madison that have at least 1 acre or more. Click here to view the homes, right? And then the landing page is just something like www.madisonacreagehomesreport.com or something like that, right? And then they click there, and then the landing page is the same, where it basically asks them, great, tell us where to send your acreage homes report. And, you know, we ask for first name, email, and they're not going to give us fake contact information, because or else they won't get the report. So this one consistently gets leads for $2 a piece to $3 a piece, the acreage homes report, right? The targeting is the same thing. We're targeting people over the age of 30 that are already homeowners. So that's how we do the targeting within the Facebook Ads Manager. Or sometimes what we do is we target people over the age of 30 that have a college degree, right? Because what we're trying to do is optimize Facebook's ad system so that we're showing the ad to people that are like demographically likely to be homeowners, so that we're not just getting buyer leads, we're also getting listing leads, right? So those are a couple of my favorite ads on Facebook to generate listing leads as well as buyer leads, and target people on a move up. So the price ranges that you're getting are typically a lot higher than what most people will get from online leads, right? So we run those ads for realtors all across the country at Platform, and it just consistently works over and over and over and over again in pretty much any market. So the last ad that I want to tell you about really quickly is what I call just the home buyer guide, right? So this is an ad where basically you're offering a 1-page PDF report of all the mortgage programs available in your area. So this one's more focused on buyers, but the leads come in really, really cheap, so it's worth it. It's just what I call the home buyer guide. So all you do is you create a 1-page PDF, you know, just list off with bullet points, basically list off all of the various mortgage programs and discounts and, you know, down payment assistance programs, all that available in your area, just with bullet points. It doesn't need to look fancy or anything. Just list off everything. You know, even like the federal programs like FHA and VA, you know, for someone who's in the military, list off, you know, like the rural development loans, like the USDA, like no money down loans, list off any state level programs you might have that are for down payment assistance, right? I know that Movement Mortgage even has like a down payment assistance, you know, grant program. List, you know, Homes for Heroes if you're affiliated with that, right? So just make a quick 1-page PDF. It should literally only take you like 5 minutes, right? Make a 1-page PDF of all the home buyer programs that are available in your area, right? And then just create a Facebook ad offering that free report. What the Facebook ad says is, again, let's say you're in just Topeka, Kansas, right? Attention, Topeka. I've created a free report of all the mortgage discounts and home buyer programs available here in Kansas. Click here to get the report, you know, and then it would be like www.topekahomebuyerguide2018.com or something like that, right? And all you're sending them is just a 1-page PDF of all the mortgage programs that you know about, right? Because we take this for granted as realtors that we probably know all that stuff just off the top of our head. We don't even have to do any research. But most people might spend hours and hours and hours researching that. So if you can just send them a 1-page PDF of all the various mortgage programs and, you know, down payment assistance grants and all that, and it's in a neat, you know, easy to read 1-page PDF, that's really valuable to them. They will totally be willing to give you their contact information for that. So on that Facebook ad, like that's what it says. You know, usually we'll just target anyone in between the ages of like 25 and 45 who have a college degree, you know, because that typically increases the quality of the leads. And that this ad typically gets leads for about $3 to $4 a piece. This is more buyer leads, obviously not necessarily seller leads, but you know, you always want to mix, obviously, because we never know which way the market is gonna go. So that's a really effective ad. If you want more examples of ads, because I don't want this webinar to take like 2 hours. If you want more examples of ads, I've actually created a PDF for you. You can grab at platformmarketingpdf.com. So if you go there, you can get 5 more specific Facebook campaigns that we've already tested. We know that they work. And so if you want to grab that, just go to platformmarketingpdf.com. And if you're going there right now, just realize that like we already have your name, your email, and your phone number, right? Because if you signed up for this webinar, right, you wanted to get a free copy of the book. And so you signed up for this webinar, right? You're attending the webinar right now. Like realize that we already have all your contact information. So like the real reason I have this slide in my PowerPoint here isn't to get your contact information, you know, because when you go to Platform Marketing PDF, it'll ask for your contact information. I already have it. I don't even technically need to ask you for it again because I already have all that information. The real reason I have this slide here is just to remind you that this process works, right? If you actually offer something people want, they will gladly give you their contact information for it, right? Because if you've already opted in there, you know, and you wanted that PDF at platformmarketingpdf.com, like if you signed up there, it means that you consciously made a decision that, hey, like I want this, I'm willing to give my contact information for it, right? And so again, like the real reason I have the slide in here is just to reinforce to you guys that this process works. If you want to generate more leads, what you have to do is actually start offering something that people actually want, and they'll gladly give you their contact information in exchange for it, right? So as I wrap this up here, kind of the last reason I love this high-hanging fruit strategy for generating leads and for growing your business is that you can actually have fun doing it. Like you don't need to just hard sell everyone. You don't need to cold call a bunch of leads with a salesy script, you know, trying to set appointments, you know, and handle objections and all that stuff that they teach you in like sales seminars, right? You can actually build casual relationships with your leads if they're high-hanging fruit, if they're at the top of the funnel, because they're just casually looking anyways, right? If someone's 3 or 4 or 5 months away, they're probably not going to meet with you and they're 4 or 5 months out. And so you just focus on very casually building a relationship with them so that when the time is right, they're loyal to you and they don't interview other agents. So you'll have a lot more fun following up because it's not such a high stakes game, right? Than when you're cold calling recently expired listings and you know kind of in the back of your mind that you're competing against 10 other agents that probably called them that day, right? So the higher you go up in the sales cycle, you know, the higher hanging fruit that you pick, the more casual you can be in your follow-up and the more you can just focus on building relationships with people.
In 2016, my team's going to do over 40 lead gen deals. It's not just all about the leads. We're walking up to a listing I have where the owner saw me in a retargeting campaign through a market update video, and now I've got a $450,000 listing. This whole high-hanging fruit marketing campaign strategy, it really works.
And that's his sign in the yard right there. That's a listing he got from this high-hanging fruit platform strategy. I always like showing this video all the way to the end because the dog barks there, and I just think that's funny. But that is his real sign there. So this is a listing that Brandon got that was over 400,000 in one of the suburbs of Denver because he actually builds relationships with his leads because of this kind of high-hanging fruit mentality, right? Leverage. So if you look at how I diagrammed that the sales funnel, right, the sales cycle, if you're just cold calling a bunch of people, you have no leverage in your business because your time is the main ingredient. And then therefore the time becomes the constraint on the growth of your business, right? Like it's just a classic case of like what got you here won't get you there, right? Hustle got you to this point, but it's actually going to be the exact thing that prevents you from getting to the next level. If you build it the platform way, if you build it this high-hanging fruit way, right? Your marketing system is going to be generating leads for you so that you only have to follow up with warm leads, right? You can accomplish more than in 45 minutes every day of following up with warm leads and what most people do when they time block 2.5 hours a day to cold call people, right? So it creates the ultimate leverage in your business where your time is no longer a constraint, right? Finally, here, the last point I make is just quality over quantity. Ultimately, all that matters is the number of closings. That's why I've tried to show you guys some examples of people that have doubled their business, tripled their business. Some agents have even quadrupled their GCI. You can't do that unless you actually have quality leads. So with all the lead generation campaigns that we set up, you know, on Facebook, all the way that we're generating leads, like the retargeting campaigns, we're always trying to get people's real phone number, real email address, you know, their real contact information, right? I'll say this if you want like a specific stat to write down, is that we actually average on our follow-up emails an over 50% open rate, right? And of those people, many cases we average a 50% reply rate when agents are working with platform and we get them leads. So not only a 50% open rate, but a 50% reply rate, right? Because I don't really care if people are opening my emails if they're not messaging me back, or if they're opening my texts if they're not actually texting me back, right? The whole point is you want quality leads, not just quantity. To do that, though, you have to actually offer something of value that's worth giving your contact information for. Like most agents tell me, oh, the leads I get from, you know, Commissions Inc. stink, or the leads I get from Boomtown stink, or the leads I get from Realtor.com or Zillow stink. You know, they're just bad quality leads. And, you know, usually they're not very good at follow-up, but there's some truth to that too. The leads are crap because they don't want to talk to you, right? They didn't go on Realtor.com or Zillow because they necessarily wanted to connect with an agent. They weren't searching on your IDX website because they wanted to talk to an agent. You basically held them hostage and you said, hey, give me all your contact information or else, right? So again, it really shouldn't be that surprising that so many leads that are generated now like are just cold leads, like they just don't want to talk to you, right? So if you do this the right way, you can actually generate quality leads. So the last analogy I'm going to share with you, this is my last slide here, and then I'm going to give you guys a free copy of the book. My last analogy is about fishing upstream. Then I'll give you guys a free copy of High Hanging Fruit. And then if you're interested, I'll actually share more about this platform marketing strategy and how if you want to just hire us to do all this for you, we will set up all your Facebook campaigns. We build the landing pages. We queue up the follow-up emails, text messages. We even edit your videos for you. If you're interested in finding out more about platform marketing and what we do, I'll share more about that in a second. And then also as kind of a surprise bonus on this webinar, we're actually going to offer a trial month of platform to anyone who is interested. So first, let's talk about fishing upstream here. We'll talk about this for a minute, and then I'll give you a free copy of the book. So fishing upstream, usually the final like metaphor I conclude with here, just to kind of fully package this up for you, is that imagine you're at like a river and you're fishing with some buddies, right? You all have your lines cast in and you're standing next to each other because you're talking, having a good time, but you're only standing maybe 2 or 3 feet away from each other, right? And so all your lines are basically cast in the same area of the river. Like you're all fishing in the exact same area, and so it's a zero-sum game. Right? Like any fish that you catch means your friend can't catch that fish, or any fish that he catches is now a fish that you can't catch, right? Because you're all like fighting over the same area, essentially. It's a zero-sum game, right? For you to win, someone else has to lose, right? And again, any fish that your friend catches, oh, now you can't catch that fish, right? It's a zero-sum game. What would happen? What would happen if you walked 100 feet upstream, right? You cast your line in there, right? If you walked 100 feet upstream, you would intercept all the fish before they ever got downstream. You would catch all the fish before they ever got downstream to where everyone else is fishing. That's fishing upstream. That's what high hanging fruit is all about. We want to intercept all these leads 3 or 4 or 5 months before they ever get to the point psychologically where they'd go on Zillow and they'd sign up and then they get bombarded with realtors, right, calling them. We want them to click on one of our ads and opt in for more information, maybe from an Acreage Homes report, a Pool Homes list, Home Buyer Guide, all these other Facebook ads I can show you guys, right? We want to get them to sign up to get more information from us, maybe 4 months or 5 months before they're actually ready to buy or sell. That's fishing upstream. So in doing so, we're intercepting all these leads months and months before they would ever get to the point where normally realtors start. So by that time, when they get to that point, they're not going to interview other agents because they're loyal to us. we've already been casually talking with them for a couple months. We've probably sent them some listings. We've maybe had a phone call or two. We've been texting back and forth, right? So the earlier you get to a lead in the sales cycle, the earlier you can establish a relationship in the sales cycle, the more of a competitive advantage you'll have in the process, right? And the farther your marketing dollars will work for you, right? The earlier you get. So that's what high-hanging fruit, guys. That's what high-hanging fruit is all about, is fishing upstream in your market and intercepting all those leads into your CRM before other agents would ever think about reaching out to these people. All right, so I'm going to show you a quick 20-second video here, and then you'll get a free copy of the book. So this video is of Taylor. He's like, I think he's like 25 years old. So he's still pretty young, but he signed up for Platform and actually added over $100,000 to his business in GCI in the first year he used Platform. So again, he didn't add 20, 30, 40, even 50. He added $100,000 of GCI to his business the very first year that he used Platform. He's only 25 years old. So I want to show you this quick video, and here we go here. I want to show you this quick video, and then I'll give you a free copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit. Check this out.
Hey Brandon, it's Taylor. I'm a real estate agent down here in Tampa. I'm 25 years old, and before I started joining with Platform, I made just under 40 grand, around 35. Last year in 2017, I closed over 7 million, made over 150 grand, and next year it's the $250,000 mark. I need to hit over 250. I definitely think that's Platform.
Awesome. I love this video clip because he's literally like 25 years old. So if that interests you, definitely grab a copy of the book, High Hanging Fruit. So here's where you can get it for free, guys. www.highhangingfruitbook.com. All right. This is our way of saying thank you for joining us on the webinar today. Highhangingfruitbook.com. It's not highhangingfruit.com. It's www.highhangingfruitbook.com. All right. So that's where you can get a copy of our book for free. Now I want to tell you a little bit more about Platform and the Platform marketing strategy, because we can handle all this for you. If you've been watching this webinar and you're thinking, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't really want to set up my own Facebook ads, or I don't know how to set up Facebook ads or build landing pages or create email autoresponder sequences or text message follow-up. I don't know how to build like a retargeting ad on Facebook. You can just hire us to do it all for you. That's what Platform marketing does, is we just handle all that for you. We even edit all of your videos for you. And in a moment here, I'm going to share with you some details on how you can get actually a trial month of Platform. So as a bonus on top of giving you a free copy of our book, High Hanging Fruit, we're going to offer a discounted trial month to you of Platform if you're interested. So let me show you this super quick video. This one isn't even 25 seconds long. I think this video is like 10 seconds long. This is Tom Douglas. He's a realtor in Alabama. And just to give you an idea of how well this Platform marketing system works, if you hire us to set this up for you, we're only in January right now, right? We're only in January. And Tom has already scheduled more closings for 2018 than he did in all of 2017, right? Thanks to hiring Platform to do his marketing for him. These are the results that we created for him.
I have a pipeline in 2018 that is as large as everything that I closed in 2017. What else can you say?
Awesome. That video is short, sweet, and to the point. So I wanted to show you that. I wanted to show you that before we started talking a little bit more about Platform marketing. So if you're interested and you want to get set up on a trial month, all you have to do is go to platformmarketmap.com. That's it. Just go to platformmarketmap.com and tell us where you live. That's all you have to do. I mean, it'll literally take 10 seconds. You don't have to fill out any questionnaire or take a survey or schedule a sales call or anything like that. All that we ask you to get set up on a trial month is for you to tell us where you live, because we only work with one agent per city, and we're very, very strict on that. To my knowledge, we're actually the only real estate marketing agency in the country. We're the only marketing company in the country that does this for realtors. You know, there's lots of companies that maybe work with one person per zip code, or maybe 2 or 3 people per zip code, but none that I know work with one agent per city. We're very strict on that. So for example, in like Charleston, South Carolina, which has hundreds of thousands of people, maybe they even have more than 1 million people, I don't know. even in a city that big like Charleston, South Carolina, we only have one client we work with in the entire Charleston area, right? So that's how exclusive we are. So we're unlike any other marketing company in that regard, whether it's Boomtown, Commissions Inc., Curator, YLOPO, every company you name, we're the only one that is set up this way. That we not only work with one agent per zip code, one agent per entire city. So I'll show you a video here coming up from Danny Springfield. She's in like San Antonio, Texas. She gets the entire San Antonio area, not just one zip code, like the entire greater San Antonio area. She's the only realtor we'll work with. So Platform is really, really exclusive. So if you want to hire us to just do all your marketing for you, we will set up all the ads. We split test everything. We even edit all of your videos for you, right? So it's basically like you're hiring a full-blown marketing department. You can get set up on a trial month. All you have to do is go to platformmarketmap.com and just tell us where you live. That's it. Should only take you 10 seconds. So I showed you this video of Taylor. Taylor signed up last year, and we actually directly added over $100,000 to his GCI in the very first year that he worked with us.
Hey,
I want to show you this video of Danny. She's a realtor in Austin, Texas. And this is Danny's thoughts on the fact that we're offering a discounted trial month, because when Danny signed up almost like 18 months ago, I think, we didn't give her any sort of discount, any sort of trial month. So I asked her to film a video specifically for people on the webinar on her opinion of whether or not you should give it a try. Because Danny's business, since she started with Platform, has grown from about $100,000. Because she was already making over $100,000 in GCI even before signing up for Platform, but we've grown her from $100,000 to $275 in GCI. So we've actually added $175,000 in GCI to Danny's business consistently every year that she can track to Platform. And so if you're interested and you want to get set up on a trial month of the same marketing system that Danny uses, again, just go to platformmarketmap.com. Here's Danny's opinion after using Platform for about 18 months.
Danny, I am a realtor in Texas. If you're watching this, it's probably because you're interested in the Platform trial month. I have to tell you, you would be crazy not to take them up on that. When I started with Platform about 18 months ago, I didn't get a trial or any kind of discount, but it has hands down been the best investment I ever made in my business. When I first started with them, I was doing about probably $100,000 in income, so about $4 million in GCI, or excuse me, in production. Now, today, after being there a little over a year and a half, I have doubled, almost quadrupled that, and will do about $275 in GCI this year. I've actually hired my first buyer's agent. I also have a part-time administrative person. So it's just been a really good decision, and to be able to try it out for a discounted price is awesome. And I wish I would have gotten to do that. But, you know, I still made an incredible return on that investment. So I definitely would highly recommend it.
Awesome. So again, her business grew from 100,000 in GCI to 275,000 in GCI. So we've added directly over 175,000 every year to Danny's business. And so probably the question you're asking is like, yeah, that's all great, but how quickly does it actually start working? Here's that video from Michelle I showed you earlier. She signed up for Platform last November. Keep in mind, November is a really slow month for most realtors. And here's the results the Platform directly created for Michelle in just her very first month using the Platform marketing system. And keep in mind that your very first month is going to be a trial month, like a discounted trial month, right? And so here's what can happen in that very first month that you sign up. So a month from now, right, like February 29th, well, I guess it wouldn't be the 29th of February because that's a leap year, but a month from now, let's say February 28th, right? You could be in this exact position that Michelle is in right now. So here's the results she got in just her first 30 days using Platform.
Hi, this is Michelle Jones from Tennessee. I joined the platform webinar. I signed up, and my results for the first 10 days are that the 2 new listings ads that I ran with platform, I got both under contract in the same day. I also have 5 active buyers that I'm currently working with now, and I also have obtained 3 new listings.
Awesome. So, I mean, the results speak for themselves, right? If you're interested, check out platformmarketmap.com. Again, like I'm not exaggerating, like it'll only take you 10 seconds to sign up at Platform Market Map. Because we're really, really exclusive, Platform only works with 1 agent per market. That's why on the screen here it says, is your market available? That's not like a scarcity tactic. We're not trying to create like a, bullshit like urgency or anything. Like we're actually being honest. We only work with 1 realtor per market. So this is Danny Springfield here. She works in San Antonio and she gets the entire San Antonio area. So if you're watching this webinar right now, like I guess I should apologize to you. if you're in San Antonio, like you can't work with us because we're already working with Danny. Like we're very, very strict on that. And that's why Platform works so well. Other companies like, Curator, Boomtown, Commission Sync, whatever, they might have 20 or 30 agents using their system in the San Antonio area. We only work with 1 person per market. So you're the only agent that's going to be running these ads in your market, right? It's not like there's 25 other realtors that are running the exact same ads with you. And like the only thing that's different is the logo, right? It's very, very exclusive. Right now, Platform only works with about 100 agents around the country. So it's not like we're this huge company, with tens of thousands of realtors. But we're also not small. It's not like we're only working with like 15, right? We have about 100 realtors right now that pay us just to manage all their marketing for them, right? And we only work with 1 agent per market. So obviously there's a lot more cities in the US than 100. So it's not like all the cities are already taken. There's plenty more towns in America than just 100. But we just want to double check. We just want to make sure, I guess. So to get set up on your trial month of Platform, all you have to do is go to www.platformmarketmap.com, and then we can get you set up on a discounted trial month. So here's Danny Springfield's story. What's cool about this one, it's a little bit different than most testimonials. We grew Danny's business a lot. So we added, I think, about 6 or 7 million in sales volume to her business. So basically we added like 200K in GCI to her business, right? So that's awesome. But the main thing that she talks about here is actually that it freed up time so she can spend more time with her family. Her kid even hops out in this video. And so most testimonials that you see from marketing companies, all it talks about is, number of leads or how my business grew, but often it means they were working even more. So as I said earlier in the webinar, we want to create a situation where we actually free up your time so your business grows, but your time is even freer than it was before. And Danny is proof of this. Danny now gets to spend even more time with her family, even though she's making more money because of the way the Platform like restructured her marketing process. Her husband, his name's Travis, her husband even quit his engineering job to join her team and work with her. And so her business grew to the extent that it actually made financial sense for their family to have her husband, Travis, leave his engineering job and join her team. To just give you an idea how much their business has grown, where it actually made sense for them to do that. So that's just super cool. Like I said, her business has grown and she gets to spend more time with her family thanks to this Platform marketing process. So if you want to try the same marketing system that Danny's using, again, just go to platformmarketmap.com. We'll get you set up on a trial month. Here's Danny's story.
Hi, I'm Danny Springfield in San Antonio. My Platform story starts, I've been in business and real estate for about 5 years. When I signed up, I was plateauing at about 13 to 15 million a year. I had another agent on board with me, but I knew that we could get a little bigger and do a little better. Most importantly, I wanted to do that in a scaled fashion. So signing up with Platform enabled me to build my business to about $20 million a year. But when I'm spending more time, I have 3 little kids, more time with them. My husband actually left his engineering job to join my team, and that has been such a godsend for our family. Our quality of life has increased dramatically, and we owe a lot of that to Platform. The biggest change has been the quality of leads, so you're not spending all your time chasing one.
And so I want to show that again where she talks about the biggest change is the quality of leads, because to grow your business and spend even less time, you can't just fill up your pipeline with a bunch of crap leads, right? It has to actually be quality leads. Lots of companies talk about the quality of their leads. Very few companies actually deliver quality leads. So notice that she says she's making more money and she's spending even more time with her family. And the reason is that it's quality leads, where she doesn't have to spend hours and hours every day calling, crap leads. So I just want to replay that so you can hear her say that and realize that platform marketing, this whole platform marketing high-hanging fruit process, like I said in the slide, it's quality over quantity.
Godsend for our family. Our quality of life has increased dramatically, and we owe a lot of that to platform. The biggest change has been the quality of leads, so you're not spending all your time chasing ones that aren't very good. And maybe even most importantly for me has been that platform, it gets me in front of my sphere for referral business so easily with very little effort on my part. So I'm a happy client. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and I'm really just thankful to be part of the platform family. Thanks.
Awesome. So again, if you want to try out the same marketing system that Danny's using, we can get you set up on a trial month. It'll just take 10 seconds. Go to platformmarketmap.com. All we're asking for is where you live. That's it. You don't have to fill out like a survey or a questionnaire or anything like that. Just tell us where you live so we can tell you if your market is available. That's it. Like the only reason we're asking that question is just to make sure that we're not having you sign up in a market where we already have a client, right? Because we are strict on that. So here's a quick video of Jeff Downing. He's up in Iowa. So I've showed you, like, the reason I show you all these videos, guys, is that, like, I want you to realize platform works in like any market in the United States. Doesn't matter if it's a big city, a suburb, a small town, a farm town, up in Iowa here where Jeff Downing is, like, Tampa, Florida, where Taylor Cresswell is. Like, it'll work anywhere, right? Big cities, suburbs, everything in between, right? So here's a video of Jeff talking about the results he created in his very first month, because I know that there's people watching right now that haven't signed up for a trial month, right? And what you're thinking specifically, because this is what I would be thinking too, is, yeah, that's great. It sounds like you have some good testimonials. It sounds like your system, probably works pretty well, but how long does it actually take to start working, right? That's like the main thing I know is probably running through your minds right now. Because, hey, I just listened to you talk for this whole webinar about high-hanging fruit, right? And how it takes 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. Well, I can't wait 5 months for it to start working. I need results now, right? So I know that the question that all of you are thinking in your minds is like, how, realistically, right? Like realistically, how long does it take to start working? Here's your answer. Here's another testimonial of someone who got very fast results in their first 30 days, right? So keep in mind, your first month is going to be a discounted trial month anyways, right? So here's the results that can come in your very first 30 days.
Hey guys, Jeff Downing here. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. As you can see, the corn's growing right behind me, so I am definitely in Iowa. Just hit my 30-day anniversary with Platform, and I want to share with you some of my successes. First campaign, first night it's going, and wake up, my phone's got a full contact lead, name, number, address, and then down at the bottom, the most beautiful thing in the world, says, yeah, I'm looking to buy a house in the next 90 days. We were able to get their home listed and get them upgraded in house. Both those houses went pending just last weekend, which is about $14,000 in GCI off my first day in my first month here in Platform. Also had a call, hey, love your video. We're looking to sell our house and upgrade. So just last night was on a listing appointment for $425,000. That's an at-bat I would not have had without Platform. I've also added literally.
So I should say there, he's getting listing appointments from Platform too, not just buyer leads, because a lot of online, marketing companies for realtors, they can get you buyer leads, usually of very questionable quality, right? But Platform successfully gets our clients over and over and over again legit listing leads, right? And for Jeff, a listing lead of over $400,000, that's basically double the average price point in his market. So maybe you're in a market, that the average house is $400,000. So it'd be like the equivalent of you getting an $800,000 listing lead, right? So Platform's not just getting him buyer leads, it was even getting him listing leads in his very first month.
house and upgrade. So just last night was on a listing appointment for $425,000. That's an at-bat I would not have had without Platform. I've also added literally hundreds of contacts into my drip campaigns and into my SOI. So that's been really, really cool. Finally, I love talking to my account administrator once a week. David, if you're out there, man, you're the best.
And I want to add there too, he talks about his account manager, David. One thing that makes Platform just extremely different from any other marketing system out there, all the companies I've already named, is that we actually do a one-on-one phone call with you every week. So it's not like a group coaching call where there's like 100 different agents on there. We do a one-on-one call with you every single week, like a personal one-on-one phone call with us, right? And we use that one-on-one call to update you on how the ads are going. We coach you on how to follow up. We're always keeping tabs with how the campaigns are doing. We're giving you updates on how the split tests are doing, how many leads came in the last week, so that you're always up to date on what's going on. Because I know that other people, if they, if you sign up for like Zillow or Realtor.com or Boomtown or whatever, you're probably not going to hear from those companies ever again until you call to cancel, and then they'll give you a bunch of attention, right, if you try to cancel, right? But Platform, we talk with our clients literally on the phone, one-on-one. Again, it's not a group coaching call. It's a one-on-one phone call with us every week, because that's what makes our agents successful. So not only are we giving them quality leads, we're also investing in them with one-on-one coaching calls so that we can always iterate and tweak the ads and coach them to making sure that, they're converting the leads and actually setting appointments. And so that's what Jeff is talking about there. Of course, everyone in Platform has an account manager, and you actually get their cell phone number too. So you can text them or call them any time of the week that you want, and you'll actually be talking to a real person who is specifically assigned to be managing your marketing campaign. So that's who Jeff is talking about. Jeff works with one of our account managers named David, and he loves him. And so that's what he's talking about there, those like one-on-one personal coaching calls that he just wasn't getting when he was working with other marketing companies.
Finally, I love talking to my account administrator once a week. David, if you're out there, man, you're the best. Love chatting with him every Monday. We can look at the effectiveness of the ads, my ad spend, and he's also helped me with scripts, when to call back, what to say, email returns. Just get rejuvenated to start the week after talking with David every Monday. So that's been my experience with Platform. If you want to know more, please look me up.
Awesome. So again, that's Jeff Downing. He's a realtor up in Iowa. So if you're interested, more information, you want to get set up on that trial month, or just find out if your market is available, go to platformmarketmap.com. Just so we know, I know we've had about 15 people sign up for that already. Mitch will personally be sending you an email. So Mitch is going to personally manually check to make sure we don't already have a client in your area, and then he'll send you an email to follow up with that. So be checking your inbox for an email from Mitch, because he's actually personally going to follow up with you on that. This is one of the favorite videos I'll show you here. This is someone who's in a more expensive market. It's kind of like a resort community where there's lots of second homes, vacation homes, luxury homes. And so this is Justin Liller, and he lives in the Deep Creek Lake area in Maryland. And Justin was worried initially that it wouldn't work because his price point was so much higher, than the average the average American city. He has some houses, in his market that are, normal $200,000, $250,000 homes, but a lot of the transactions Justin has are $1 million homes, because it's resort luxury lake homes. Platform worked for him too. He says in this video here that it's the best decision he's ever made in his business, and I just think that's really cool, because as a CEO and founder of Platform, I take that personally. I'm very proud of that when clients say that it's the best business decision they've ever made. And that's what Justin says in this video. So notice that he's not just getting, the lower end buyer leads. He's getting buyer leads and listing leads of homes that are $1 million and above, coming from his Platform marketing strategy. So again, if you want to use the same marketing system that Justin is using here, go to platformmarketmap.com.
Hey guys, I'm Justin Liller with Rayleigh Realty at Deep Creek Lake, and I want to share my experience so far since joining Platform. Back in January, I flew down and met with Tim, and he showed me kind of the basics of Platform, which I implemented right away and saw some pretty good success with. So at the end of May, I became a full Platform family member. So it's been a little more than 30 days, maybe 40 days since I joined Platform, and I've seen some really incredible success. I'm picking up between 4 and 6 full contact information leads per day off of the ads that I run on Facebook. I can directly relate 3 listings back to my Platform ads that I've been running. They range anywhere from $150,000 to $800,000. I have had 2 closings from that, $175,000 closing and another at $850,000. And then I have a property under contract with some folks that opted into one of my ads at $1,550,000. So, you know, it's an incredible, incredible value that they offer at Platform. The return on investment is going to be absolutely huge. And I could not recommend joining Platform anymore. Like it has been by far the best business decision that I have ever made. So I've been implementing the Platform strategy since January, but only been a full Platform member since the end of May. And as of last Friday, I had 2 closings last Friday. As of last Friday, for 2017, I've already exceeded my GCI that I had in 2016. So I have no doubt that this is going to become my best year ever. And I think that, you know, if you follow the strategies that they talk about, it could be anybody's best year ever. You've got to film the videos, you've got to do the follow-up, and the buyers and listings will come. You know, it's been incredible. Over the holiday weekend, I had 5 people walk up to me and say, "Hey, you're that guy from the Facebook ads, the videos. I watch all your home tours. I love it." And, you know, it's that kind of stuff that maybe doesn't show up in your GCI right away, but over time it will, because people are going to, you know, when they're ready to buy, they're only going to think of you because you've built that trust and you've given them something to watch while they're bored at work or sitting at home, and they absolutely love it. So anyway, I can't thank Platform enough. I couldn't be happier. And if you're on the fence about this, just do it. You're not going to regret it. Thanks a lot.
I love his advice right at the end. If you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, just do it. You're not going to regret it. So platformmarketmap.com. You can tell he's pretty tan there. He actually filmed this video for us last summer. So the summer of 2017 is when he filmed it. At that point, his GCI had already exceeded everything he did in the year before. He was only halfway through the year. Recently, though, he's told me that his business more than doubled, almost tripled this year. And he already this year, in the month of January, has like 50,000 under contract from Platform leads in just the month of January. So this year, he's going to do even more than he did in 2017. And so super cool. I'll have to get a new updated like video testimonial from him with him saying that. But Justin's killing it, even in a more expensive market. So I can skip through some of these and show you so many more video case studies, guys. This is Micah Grafsgaard. He lives in Hawaii, so it's even working way over in Hawaii, right? In 3 months, he got over 500 leads, and he added it up of the buyers that were actually pre-approved and are going to be buying, over $100,000 to his GCI from the leads he got in his very first 90 days using the Platform marketing strategy. Skip through this. Here's Justin. Justin more than doubled his business. He before Platform, Justin was making, I think, $60,000, $70,000 a year. And this year he'll do over $200,000 a year in GCI. In the month of January alone, I think he had 6 listings. So this January 2018, I think he had 6 listings that were specifically from Platform in 1 month, right? And so Platform has more than doubled his business, almost, actually, I think it's more than tripled his business now, his GCI. And so here's just another story of someone whose business has grown exponentially since joining the Platform family. So again, if you're interested, it's platformmarketmap.com. It's where you can sign up for a trial month, www.platformmarketmap.com.
In Texas, and here's how I've doubled my business in 2017. About a year ago, I hired a company called Platform. Platform is a digital marketing agency that specifically focuses on Facebook advertising. Now, when I originally found Platform, I had no idea what real Facebook advertising was all about. I had no idea what A/B testing was and CPM and all these other terms, but I did know what GCI was, and I knew that the results that the Platform clients were having at the time was nothing short of amazing and something that I had to know more about. So I spoke to Tim and spoke to some of the other Platform clients, and after doing so, I realized that this was something that I had to be part of. So I joined up with them, and my results have been nothing short of amazing as well, and I'm incredibly thankful for Platform, what they've done for me, what they've done for my family and my business. And to give you a little peek into what my experience has been thus far, next month I actually have almost $40,000 in gross commission income set to close from Platform alone.
Awesome. So even in 1 month last summer, he did 40K in GCI just from Platform leads in 1 month. Here's another one. This is Rodney in Wichita. This is Amy. She's in Pensacola, Florida. So I mean, it's Platform's working in markets all across the country. Guys. I'm not even showing you half of the videos we have just because I don't want this webinar to take 3 hours, right? So here's one really, really cool video I want to show you because this is Brandon in Denver. He'll actually walk into his office here, and we kind of filmed a behind the scenes type video where he'll show you the actual whiteboard in his office. He walks into his office here and shows you the whiteboard where he has all of his business mapped out and showing that it's coming from Platform. So he has the closings he has coming up from Platform, as well as the high-hanging fruit of leads that are ready to go, in the next 6 months that are coming from Platform. And the whiteboard doesn't lie. I mean, he'll do over 40 transactions this year just from Platform. And so if you do the math, obviously that's over 3 extra closings every single month just from Platform. So that's on top of the business he was already doing before he hired Platform to manage his digital marketing for him. So on top of the business he already had, he's doing an extra 3 closings every single month thanks to Platform. Keep watching until the end of this because he shows you the whiteboard. The whiteboard doesn't lie.
First introduced the whole online lead platform system, I was skeptical. Now, a year later, we're closing 40 deals in 2016. This is all due to the online marketing platform. For example, we have our buyers meet us in this building, which gives us instant credibility. Because when you meet somebody on the internet, you never know if they're real or not. So when you come to a building like this, people come in here, they want to work with you, they realize you're real, and then you sign them up as a client. Come with me to the office. For example, we are closing 11 deals in June alone, totaling over $4.5 million. That is an incredible number, and about half of that came directly from the platform system. Now over here, this is stuff you can't fake. This is our pipeline. This is ready buyers who've been pre-approved. They want to go searching, they want to go shopping, and they want to buy a home. 50% of these guys are all coming from our platform system, and it's proven the high-hanging fruit mentality, the system, the platform leads, it really does work, and it's real.
Again, the whiteboard doesn't lie, right? It really does work, and it's real. So platformmarketmap.com if you're interested in the trial month of the same marketing system that Brandon uses there. Platformmarketmap.com. I'm going to skip ahead, guys, to the very end. I have this. This is the last video I'm going to show you here today. This is of a realtor in Minnesota named Debbie Kaler, and this is kind of a special video. I saved the best for last, I guess. This is actually part of a documentary that we produced because Debbie's results were so amazing that we didn't just want her to film a normal testimonial video for platform, using like a cell phone, like a selfie video, like a lot of what these other realtors did. Her results were so just crazy that we actually hired a documentary film crew, and we flew up this documentary film team to like produce Debbie's story as a documentary, because Debbie was a realtor in Minnesota who, when the last recession hit, in 2008, and there was the mortgage crisis and all the foreclosures, like Debbie's business just evaporated. So she had no business people buying and selling, but she also almost lost her own house. Her business slowed down so much that she couldn't afford to even make her mortgage payments anymore. and the bank was actually about to take her house. And so with the last money she had, like I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making this up, because you'll hear Debbie say this in this video, but basically with the last money she had, she hired Platform to run marketing for her to get her some leads, because she kind of realized, like, well, at this point, you know, I have like nothing to lose. I might as well try to get some leads to make some money, because I can't, like, she was basically at a point where she couldn't save her way out of it, right? There was no way she could cut any more expenses or save her way out of the problem. She had to actually grow her business. That was the only way. So again, like, I'm not making this up. The reason we filmed this on video is because if I told you all this and it wasn't on video, you probably wouldn't believe me, because it almost sounds like cheesy, like it's too good to be true, right? But it seriously is like a rags to riches story. So the very first Platform ad that we ran for her as a Facebook lead gen ad was actually an ad promoting her own house for sale, because she couldn't afford to live there anymore. Like, the bank was about to take her house, so she had to sell her house to avoid being like foreclosed on, right? So like, it sounds crazy, I know, but that's actually the truth, which is why we, you know, filmed a documentary about Debbie's story. So watch this quick video clip and realize, like, this is the power of platform marketing. This is the most epic before and after story you'll probably ever see of a real estate agent going from rags to riches, because now Debbie has since bought a brand new car. She's bought like a $500,000 lake home. Her business is booming. She just won an award that she's the top realtor for her brokerage in the entire state of Minnesota. I mean, Platform basically rescued her business. And so again, if you want to use the same marketing system that's Debbie using, you can try it on a trial month at platformmarketmap.com. Here's Debbie's story.
Okay, so I love this car. I've always wanted a Jeep Rubicon, always. Never thought I'd be able to get one, especially that I could just write out a check for, actually. But I was in Platform for about 6 months when my other car actually blew up, and I just kind of thought, what am I doing? I can afford what I want. So drove onto the lot with that wreck and drove off with this Rubicon with only 6 miles on it, which was a fantastic day.
And so I want you to meet Debbie Kaler. The Platform strategy literally rescued her career. After the housing market crashed, she was struggling to make a living. Now she's driving a brand new car, bought a new lake home, and business is better than ever. Her story is just incredible. So we'll let her share the details. This is the power of the Platform strategy.
Hi, I'm Debbie Kaler. I'm a realtor in a very small town in west central Minnesota. Population just a little over 2,000. So it's a tough market. We have a lot of agents around here. In fact, I would say we are saturated because everybody, for some reason, thinks that real estate is the fast, easy money, easiest thing you can get into. So I got into real estate in 1990 and always did pretty well, probably in the top 10, 15, and then the market crashed. And being a single person, that was tough. I ended up losing my house, my car, pawned all my jewelry. I literally had nothing left other than the clothes on my back.
So, as I said, Debbie's story is one of the coolest Platform stories I've ever heard. After 20 years in the business, things were so slow, she was about to quit real estate entirely and find a new career. She was applying for jobs around the country, just trying to find something to pay the bills. And then she discovered Platform.
So thinking, this is it. I have to get out of real estate permanently, even though I loved it. They found out my story and they said, you know, we have this young guy that does marketing for us. You should give him a try. So I was desperate and I decided, all right, he came over and talked to me and started telling me about Platform. And I thought, this is entirely too good to be true. There's no way anything is that good that's going to take me from about being homeless, literally homeless, to actually being able to stay in this business and make it. But humor me, I'll listen to him. So I made him. He gave me the good sales pitch. Out of frustration, I hired him. And only because that day in the mail, the very last check had come from my retirement account. Very last check. And I knew it wasn't going to carry me through anyway, so what's the big deal? I might as well gamble. I threw it at him and said, all right, big talker, you think you can do this? Do it. I bet it was 3 weeks later, leads started to come in like crazy, and they started rolling, and I'm not kidding. And pretty soon I didn't have time for that other job I took. I was back into real estate. And here we are 2.5 years later. And I went from number 47 in my association up to number 2.
So Debbie went from having no money, literally losing her home, to being the number 2 agent in her entire association. I love this story. It's such an authentic example of the power of platform. The entire community noticed how quickly Debbie built her brand. Remember, building your business is as simple as building a list of people who trust you. Not just a database, but a list of people who trust you.
So one of the fun things with platform was I had so many friends say, when the market crashed, we thought you were done. That was it. We thought your business was going under, that you were done, no more, Debbie. And it's like you came back with a vengeance. All of a sudden we see videos all over the place, and your signs are going up all over the place. And now you're really showing other people how it's done. I actually had a couple of my competing agencies come and try to recruit me with their company. To which it's like, no, I turned them down. I mean, they're like, don't you want to work for, and then they'd say their name because they're bigger names in the area. I don't have a big name. Lakes Area Realty, Debbie Kaler Real Estate. I don't have the big banners, the big balloons, anything like that. And it's like, you know what? I don't need you. I'm doing fine on my own. They didn't like that very well, but I've pretty much buried most of them, which is a great feeling. And it's all because of platform. I went from, like I said, bottom of the barrel, thinking that I was going under, to a place I never thought I would be. And it's because of the marketing. And that happened rather quickly, actually. I would say within 3 months, people started to make comments about, wow, you came back strong. And by 6 months, it was, wow.
Amazing. So let's take a behind the scenes look at Debbie's office and get a feel for what her daily routine looks like when the leads are flowing in.
So I just want to give you a behind the scenes look at what platform has done for me. Just in this last week, I've gotten 3 pages of leads. The ones that are crossed off are the ones that I've actually come in contact with, I've had phone conversations with, or even met them for coffee. I've got 2 listing appointments out of it so far, and for sure 1 buyer, probably 2, maybe even 3. So it's been great that way. It keeps me busy. It keeps me in contact with people. But I really want to show you personally what it's done for me. So my dream car was always a Jeep Rubicon. And after working with Platform for, I don't know, about 6 months, I was finally able to get one. Brand new, right off the lot. And it only had 6 miles on it. So it was glorious. Working with Platform and really working the program, if you work it, it works. So if you've been in it and say that it doesn't work, it's only because you're not doing anything with it. I have proof, because what I'm going to show you is the property I was able to buy, and it may not be huge, but it is on a premier lake. It's on Green Lake, which used to be the 2nd purest lake in the world. It's completely renovated. I can't wait to show it to you. So, we're going to go there right now and take a look.
I'm reminded of that classic quote from Zig Ziglar. You can have whatever you want in life if you'll just help other people get what they want. This is the very essence of the platform strategy. Just serve people. Before you ever ask for anything, provide value. Be the most helpful real estate agent in your market. As you'll see, it worked for Debbie, and it can work for you too.
I paid plenty for it just because it is where it is. But it is a Frank Lloyd Wright house, which does mean something. So I wanted to keep his design. And that's another reason I renovated what was there instead of tearing it down. It is a $500,000 house in a community where everything, the average price is $150,000. So it's an accomplishment. I never thought I would be able to do that. So we're almost at my humble cottage. So not only was I able to buy this new car, but Platform also allowed me to buy my new lake home.
And so this is awesome. So here she actually shows you the lake home. Keep in mind that Platform basically paid for this.
So this is the lake home that I bought, and I was able to renovate the whole thing. What we're standing in was actually just a screen porch. Going into the kitchen, I was able to put in all new countertops, new flooring, all new appliances, took out some walls, added some windows, opened up the living room. This was a couple tiny rooms before. But what I love about this place is this epic view of Green Lake. And thanks to Platform, I get to enjoy it every day.
So again, if you're interested, if you want to try out on a discounted trial month, guys, only $500, just $500, a one-time investment, because we have no contracts whatsoever. So if you want to try it out on trial month, the same marketing system that Debbie uses, platformmarketmap.com. All right, guys, I want to thank you for investing your time with us today. Again, if you're interested, platformmarketmap.com. I will have Mitch send you an email later this afternoon with kind of like a checklist of everything Platform does for you. If you're interested in learning kind of more of like the specifics of everything we do for you on a monthly basis, with setting up the Facebook ads and like the retargeting campaigns and the text message follow-up campaigns and the email follow-up campaigns. And I mean, just everything Platform does for you. I'll have Mitch send you an email with basically like a checklist of the specifics of all that. So watch your email inbox for that. And as well as if you signed up at platformmarketmap.com, Mitch will be reaching out to you shortly, if he hasn't already, with an email to let you know if your market is open. So thanks so much. Again, platformmarketmap.com to get set up on your trial month of Platform marketing. Thanks, guys.